Live from Cady Arena at the Goggin Ice Center in Oxford, Ohio, you are listening to the Miami Hockey pregame show live on Red Hawk Radio. I am Bryan Miller. I will be your pregame and intermission host this evening. It's a busy night in Oxford tonight. It's senior night as the Miami RedHawks take on the number 18 ranked Omaha Mavericks in the last home game of the season. Last night's game was a bit of a heartbreaker from Miami. It was 4-3 Omaha final score. Quick score recap real quick. Omaha got on the board first, 18-29 to the first period with a goal by Kirby Proctor, and extended the lead in the second period, 5:09 into the second, with a goal by Jimmy Glenn. But then Miami responded later in the period, 11:28 in the second period with a goal by John Waldron. But then Omaha, the Mavericks, responded early-ish in the third period with a goal by Brock Bremer. But then Miami got 2 goals to tie the game. First one by Max Dukovac, and then to tie it 3-3, 17:39 into the third period, a goal by Axel Kumlin. But then Omaha responded shortly after that with a goal by Zach Erdahl. That would eventually seal the game for the Omaha Mavericks. Last night, Coach Chris Bergeron sounded pretty disappointed at the result, but was proud of the resilience of the group. First, he said that the quote, "We got desperate as the game went on." That may sound bad, but it did result in Miami getting 2 goals shortly into the third period to eventually tie the game. He also said, quote, "This group is resilient, but we have obviously proven we have no idea how to win hockey games and close out games." So that's something we should look to expect tonight. A motivated Red Hawk group, obviously, on senior night, and obviously motivated after the result last night to play a full 60 minutes. It's important for Omaha, too. They have their tournament hopes. They are right on the tournament cut line, and Miami hopes to play spoiler to those roles, to those futures. Pardon me. And as I mentioned earlier, it's one last home game for the seniors to go out on a high note. Miami has a 11-game winless streak. They have not won since January against Western Michigan, and have also lost 19 straight games in the month of March. One storyline to look forward tonight: can the RedHawks play a full 60 minutes and finish strong? Obviously, last night they did not play well in the first period, responded okay in the second period, and then came back in the third period, but eventually lost it in the last minute. Last night, with a motivated fan base and motivated senior group, obviously you want to send the seniors off on the right note. We'll see if the RedHawks can play a full 60 tonight and finish the home season strong before heading to Western Michigan next week and the NCHC tournament the week after that. We'll take a quick break. In the next segment, we'll go over the key players for both teams and stuff to look out for. We have a goalkeeping change for Miami tonight. I'll break that down in the next segment. Stay tuned on Red Hawk Radio. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio, your pregame show for Miami hockey. We time to go over some key players for both of the sides. First off, for the Omaha Mavericks, first you got Ty Muller, from a junior from Alberta. He has 24 points on the season, which leads his team. 9 goals on the season, tied for second on the team, and 15 assists, which also leads the team. Last week he scored a goal again last Friday versus Colorado College, so he is a name to keep on for tonight. Jack Randall is a graduate student from Illinois. He has 21 points on the season, third on the team, 11 goals, which leads the team, and 10 assists, which is fourth on the team. And he added 1 assist last night against Miami and also scored last Friday versus Colorado College. Nolan Sullivan is also a graduate student from Michigan. He has scored a goal in 3 of the last 4 games. He did not score last night, but he did score in 3 of the previous games before then, including 2 goals last weekend against Colorado College. But while he did not score last night, he did have an assist against Miami. Between the pipes tonight for Omaha is Simon Lacosi. He has started 26 games on the season. He has given up 2.8 goals per game. He currently has a .905 save percentage, 14-9-3 record, and 2 shutouts so far on the season. For Miami, we have Matthew Barbolini. He is a senior, so he will be recognized shortly here from New York. He has 25 points on the season, which leads the team, 11 goals, which is tied for the team lead, and 14 assists on the year, which also leads the team. Last Friday night at Denver, he had 2 goals, and last night he had 1 assist to add on to his point total. We also have PJ Fletcher, who's a senior from California. He has 23 points on the year, which is second on the team, 11 goals, which is tied for the team lead with Barbolini, and 12 assists on the season. And he's just behind Barbolini for the points and assist total so far this year. So that's another person to keep your eye on for tonight. We also have I was getting distracted there. The senior night festivities are about to begin. I got a little distracted there. Sorry. Raymond Vitelins. He is a junior from Latvia. So far, he has 2 goals on the season. He has 2 goals and 3 assists the last 5 games, so he's on a bit of a hot streak, putting some numbers up in the scorebook. Last Friday night, he scored a goal and assisted another last Friday night at Denver, and he also had 1 assist last night. Between the pipes for Miami, we have a change. We have Logan Neaton in. He's a graduate student from Michigan. He has been out for injury, has not played since January 13th against Western Michigan. He has started 18 games on this season. He has given up 3.06 goals per game. He currently has a .901 save percentage, 6-10-2 record, and has 1 shutout on the season. He is replacing Bruno Buveris, a freshman from Latvia. He has started 13 games on the season. He has given up 3.9 goals per game. He had a .873 save percentage, a 1-11-1 record, and 1 shutout on the season. Up now, we're going to take a look at some scores around the NCHC and NCAA hockey worlds, as well as the Miami University athletic world last night and tonight. In the NCHC last night, number 12 Western Michigan was at number 3 North Dakota, and North Dakota got a 5-3 W. Also in the conference, number 4 Denver got a big win at number 15 St. Cloud State by a score of 6-2. And Minnesota Duluth was at number 11 Colorado College, and they tied at a score of 2-2. Some other notable scores from the NCAA last night. Number 1 Boston College, the Eagles were at number 17 New Hampshire, and the Eagles were able to get a 5-3 W. In some Big Ten action, number 6 Michigan State was at number 4 Wisconsin, and the Spartans were able to get a 5-2 win in Madison. Also in the Big Ten, number 16 Michigan was at number 8 Minnesota, and the Gophers were able to get a 6-2 win against the Wolverines. In scores around Miami University, the softball team is continuing their trip around the state of Oklahoma. After a close loss to the number 1 ranked Sooners last night, softball team got a 10-2 win against the Seattle RedHawks tonight, proving who the real RedHawks are. Baseball got an 8-6 win versus the Oakland Golden Grizzlies at home. That they are 2-0 so far in the series. They are looking to get the sweep tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Men's basketball won 52-37 at Eastern Michigan, and with that win, they clinched a spot in the MAC tournament, so they will be going to Cleveland in a couple weeks. And the women's basketball team was at Bowling Green today, and they lost by a score of 66-47. We're going to take a quick break. Up next, we'll go over some keys to the game and what to expect on this senior night in Oxford, Ohio. Don't change that channel. We will be live on Red Hawk Radio. Welcome back to the Cady Arena here in the Goggin Ice Center. Quite the scene here. We just had 7 seniors recognized for senior night. You sure hope that Miami can send those seniors out on a good note tonight with a win against the Omaha Mavericks. Some keys to the game. First off, for Omaha, their face-offs. Omaha is 7th in the country in face-off win percentage at .546. Meanwhile, Miami is ranked 56 at .464. So Omaha needs to continue to exploit this matchup tonight in this matchup against Miami. And also they need to stay alive. Omaha is 13-1-4 in one-score games this season, including last night's 1-goal victory against Miami. And they need to stay alive for their tournament hopes. They need to win this game for their at-large tournament hopes if they don't win the conference tournament. Right now, they are tied for 15th, right at the cut line in the pairwise rankings. And when you take in other conference champions that are below the 16 mark, they are right on the cut line of the NCAA tournament. So they need all the wins that they can get. They definitely need to win this game tonight. For Miami, they need to keep their foot on the pedal and play a full 60 minutes tonight. While Omaha is great in one-score games, Miami is not. They are 2-7-3 in one-score games, including last night. Chris Bergeron said it last night. They haven't been able to play a full 60 minutes throughout this season. If they're able to do it tonight, they might be able to send the seniors home on a good note and spoil the Mavericks' hopes of the NCAA tournament. They also need to be physical tonight. Chris Bergeron, his presser last night, emphasized physicality and sustaining physical play, as well as staying focused and following the game plan for a full 60 minutes. You sure hope that Miami is able to do that and send the Mavericks home on a sour note. Up next for both these teams after tonight, Omaha will be home to North Dakota next weekend. That's certainly a big opportunity for them to increase their tournament hopes before the conference tournament starts. And for Miami, they will be at Western Michigan. Tonight is the last home night. Decent crowd tonight for senior night. You sure hope that the fans are able to create a rowdy environment for the seniors' last home game tonight. Right now, Miami is ranked 8th in the conference standings. They will very likely, if not almost certainly, be at North Dakota for the conference tournament. Right now, Omaha is ranked 6th. They are tied with Western Michigan in the conference standings, so certainly tonight is a big night for them to elevate themselves in the conference standings. Right now, they would be at Denver. But with this game and the 2 games next weekend, they might be able to get to a 4 seed and host the first round game for the NCHC tournament, as well as increase their hopes of making the NCAA tournament. RedHawks have just taken the ice. They are wearing their white jerseys and red pants, and the Mavericks have just taken the ice as well. They are wearing all black. Should be a good one tonight. As I mentioned earlier, we do have a goalie change for Miami. Logan Neaton is in for the RedHawks. Chris Bergeron mentioned this last night. He said the plan was to have Bruno Bruveras play last night to get Logan Neaton fully healthy and ready to go for tonight. He's coming back from injury. He has not played since January. He has not since January 13th against Western Michigan. Statistically, he is the better goaltender, and certainly more experienced. So you're glad that he's able to get one last home game against a quality team in the Omaha Mavericks. We'll take one last quick break, and then after that, we will send it to Luke and Jeff in the booth for your game coverage. Welcome back to Cady Arena. It is almost time for hockey. We have about 4 minutes left on the clock. The Miami starting lineups are about to be introduced. Before it is time to send it off to your announcers tonight, Luke Poley and Jeff Middleton. Take it away, fellas.
Bryan, thanks very much for one final time into the 2023-24 season. Senior night here for the Miami hockey team as they take on Omaha for the second straight night, looking for the series split as the RedHawks dropped it by a 4-3 score yesterday. Jeff, real quick, before we get into this one, just a tough one to swallow yesterday for this Miami team. They battle back from a 3-1 deficit in the third to tie it. Team is buzzing on all cylinders, and they give up a breakaway goal with just under a minute left to play. You need a rebound in the worst way to close out your season here at home on the right note.
Yeah, and that was a really unfortunate loss, and everybody, I think, in the building knew it. The players knew it. Coach Bergeron knew it after the game. But I think now you've Logan Neaton in net. First start since the January 13th win, their only NCHC win of the season. So hopefully that can give them a little bit of momentum on senior night. Starting all seniors tonight at the beginning of this game. So hopefully, along with those emotions for senior night, having Logan Neaton back in the net will make a big difference for these RedHawks.
We will toss it over to public address for the national anthem and the Miami Hockey Band. Jeff and I back with Puck Drop next. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. All set to go here one final time this season from Cady Arena as Miami gets set to take on the Omaha Mavericks. Starting goalies tonight for Omaha, they go with Simon Lakosi, the Slovakian national from the city of Trenčín, gets the start for the second straight night. He was a victor yesterday by a 4-3 score. 5'11", 175-pound right-catching sophomore. Makes his 27th appearance of the year, 14-9-3 record, 2.8 goals against average, a .905 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. For Miami, Logan Neaton is healthy, and he is back in the Red Hawk net. Chris Bergeron announced post-game yesterday that he would be the guy that would have the net for Miami this evening. He makes his first start since being injured in the Western Michigan game back on January 13th. Conveniently enough, that was Miami's last win, a 4-3 victory over the Broncos. He was injured in the third period of that game. Graduate student draft choice of the Winnipeg Jets from Brighton, Michigan. 6'4", 200 pounds, 19th start of the year, 6'10-2 record with a 3.06 goals against average and a .901 save percentage. Miami with the white uniforms with the red double stripe on each side. Block text reads Miami on the front, red names and numbers on the front and back. White helmets, red gloves, red pants, and white socks. RedHawks move right to left. Omaha in the All Blacks with the white numbers and names. White text reading Omaha on the front and the red trim. They move left to right. Brian Hankes and Stephen Reno are the referees this evening. Troy Merritt and Chris Williams work the lines as we get set to go from a crowded Cady Arena one final time in the 2023-24 season. All senior starting lineup for Miami. Puck is down. Off we go from Cady Arena. RedHawks win the faceoff back into their own end. And it's Matthew Barbolini from the near half wall up ahead for Miami, looking for Thomas Daskis out near center, but it got past him. It's taken by Tanner Ludke down the far side, and he will fire it in and gets blasted by Barbolini in doing so. Ludke back to it. It's up to the left point for Proctor. Rister through traffic, saved by Neaton with the blocker. Still alive on the low circle. A try from Randall from there is patted aside as well. Up at the left point, this is Proctor. His shot gets blocked with the stick of Daskis right back to him, and now he'll spin it in deep where it's Ryquist behind the Miami net. Ryquist tried to chip it up the wall, but it hit off the stick, or skate rather, of Ty Muller. Now the RedHawks will grab the loose puck and clear it away. It's Daskis high off the glass and out to center. Omaha will get it back in down the right wing. This is Miller. Plays it out in front. Backhanded attempt from the near post by Zach Erdahl with the game-winning goal yesterday. Is stopped by Neaton, who makes his third early save in the first minute. Puck is behind the RedHawk net, and it's Hampus Ryquist, who leaves it back in the NCHC logo for Robbie Drasner. Drasner through for Dukovac, swinging across his own zone, loses his grasp of the puck and now turns it over in the far corner. Nolan Sullivan, the captain for Omaha, shot it up to the left point where there's a logjam for it, and the RedHawks will pull it free, and Dukovac will chip it as far as the center red. Bremer back in for Omaha, brings it down the right wing with some trouble as Moulton whacks away at him. RedHawks will take it away. Waldron to the far side for Sullivan, who will bank it off the wall and out past center. And now Dukovac will direct it further in to the far corner of the Omaha zone. 18:23 to go, first period. No score between Miami and the Omaha Mavericks here on night 2. Dancing his way down the middle, Jesse Lansdale to the far side, shoots. It's deflected. A save was made by Neaton, and the puck kind of hopped up in the air, ends up getting cleared out past center by the RedHawks. It's Gavin back to it in the near corner of the Omaha zone, off for Lansdale, who will now round his own zone, and in the left circle he steps on by PJ Fletcher. Past the center red, Lansdale will shovel this one in, and Clement will tap it back against the end wall for Miami, and Raymond Vitalin skates into it. The Vermont transfer ahead for PJ Fletcher, and now Barbolini down the right wing. Enters the zone, bobbles the puck, kicks it to himself, and now will turn it over just inside the blue line where Ludke directs this one ahead for Ty Muller. Muller trying to weave through traffic. Puck skips to his stick as he gets to the net front, but he can't get a shot away. He's still got it in the near corner, and now it's up top for Krenzen right point. Across to the left side, there is no shooting lane opened up for Noah Ellis, the extra skater and draft choice of the Vegas Golden Knights. Now Ludke, center point, shoots a tip shot, saved by Neaton, rebound whacked down. He makes another stop, and he holds on with 17:19 to go in the first period. 5-0 the shots in favor of Omaha, but still no goals.
And we saw yesterday, Luke, the end tally after the first period was 14-2 or 13-2 in favor of Omaha, and now it's 6-0. They put an extra shot up on the board. Just, again, they look a little slow to start this game, and you know, Chris Bergeron and Max Dukovac talked about it post-game, that just can't happen, that they knew it wasn't good enough, and that the second and third period were more representative of what they needed to do.
RedHawks outshot the Mavericks in the last 2 periods of the game yesterday. Managed to tie the game after a 2-goal deficit in the third period, but gave up a goal with under a minute to go to fall 4-3. RedHawks dump it into the Maverick end, and Lacozi will whip it around the near side where the puck gets jammed up along the wall by Daskis. He's without his stick as it is laying in the left circle, and the Mavericks will pull it free and send it to the far side where Kirby Proctor will lift it ahead. Boost racing after it and gets tied up with Spencer Cox in the far corner. Cox, who's back into the lineup tonight for Miami. And those two continuing to fight now as the puck rings to the near side where they are. Cox will grab it and shoot it down. This one is a delayed icing, but good hustle from Taransky, and he gets there first. Taransky gets upended, but we play on as Erdahl taps it along the Zamboni door. Sullivan directed to the near corner for Mancini, but it's held in on the left point by Moulton. Down low, Waldron. In heavy traffic, he tries to throw it up to the point, and it's deflected out and down as this will not go for icing. The RedHawks will bring it back up. Waldron from the near side, cross the ice for Dukovac down the right wing. Enters the Omaha zone, pushing to his backhand. Dukovac tries to throw it in front, puck sitting there. Dukovac tracks it in the left circle, but he swung and missed on it, and it ends up in the corner. Clement now from the right circle. His one-time shot on the loose puck is blocked by Erdahl. Puck still alive in the far corner, and finally the Mavericks will grab it and outlet to center. RedHawks, though, do get another steal off a nice bump from Dukovac. And Miami carries it back in. Waldron with a dragon shot from the high slot just inside the blue. It's deflected into the protective netting. Miami still without a shot. 15:38 to go first period and no score, but a better shift from that sophomore line for the RedHawks. That's back together of Waldron and Dukovac with Taransky.
And the lines are a little switched up from last night. Last night we saw Dukovac with Tedaskus and Taransky, and now tonight, and Nilsson with Waldron and Sullivan, but Dukovac is now with Waldron and Sullivan, and Nilsson's playing with Taransky and Daskus. So an interesting little line switch up after a great game from Dukovac, from all three of those, Dukovac, Waldron, and Sullivan last night.
Yeah, and Miami's still not completely at their lines right now just because of who they started, guys from a couple different lines with the senior lineup. Now they've got their regular top line out there as the puck is out at center in the grasp of the Mavericks. It's Vitalins, Barbolini, and Fletcher out there for the RedHawks. Lansdale pokes it ahead for the Mavericks. It's Kumlin backing up into his own zone. He had the snipe of the year yesterday to tie the game for Miami. Just walked in and went bar down from the right side. RedHawks, though, couldn't hold on to the tied game for very long. Miami's got it back in their own end. Rihard Simonovic's 2 assists for him yesterday on the last 2 Miami goals. Cross-ice pass to the far wing for Alba Nielsen. Lifts it towards the cage. Got through on Lacosi, but he'll stick it aside. And now carrying it up the far wing, this is Jack Randall through center. Randall gets whacked at. Muller will grab it from the right blue line and wrap it back in. Randall now to the left wing, tried to hand it up to the point. Daskus got in the way, and he'll chip it off the wall and head down to go after it. Ellis getting to it for Omaha in his own end, but he coughed it up. And now a logjam ensues in the far corner where the RedHawks pull it out. It's Taransky behind the net, stopping his feet and now going once more to the near corner. Backhands it up for Dempsey, left point. Back for Taransky in the left circle. Cross the ice on the far side. Dresner shoots in a sliding, blocked by Randall. That draws some praise from the Omaha bench. Then a nice steal from Ludke away from Zane Dempsey, and the Mavericks carry it 2-on-2 the other end while the rest of the guys change. LeMay has it poked off his stick, and Nielsen will now double it back for Miami, back towards his own end as the RedHawks finish up the switch. 13:52 to go, first period. 6-1 is the shots advantage for Omaha in a scoreless game. And Miami is bringing out their 4th line. For the RedHawks, it is Messenberg and Baser. They've only got 11 forwards in the lineup today, so P.J. Fletcher occupying the other spot. Down the right side, Baser shoots high and wide over the shoulder. That's glove side with the right-handed catching Lacosi. This hits off the glass and goes all the way back down to Miami's own end, where it is rimmed up the near side for P.J. Fletcher, who now carries it across the center M and will flutter it on in. Puck banks off the end wall. Fletcher going after it, applying some forecheck, and the puck does come free. An attempt at the point, gets by Cox, and now maybe a 2-on-1 developing the other way. It's Mitchell down the right wing. He lost the puck, regathers, gives across, but Cox got in the passing lane as the intended target there with his feet planted was Tyler Rollwagon, and the RedHawks will take it the other direction. Messenberg down the right side, through the trees, gets it into the zone, and just pins it up along the far wall as the changes arrive for Miami. And now the RedHawks will swing it around to the near wing where Dukovac continues to apply pressure, but Mancini will earn possession and round his own net to the far wing. Sullivan with a shoulder on him. He leaves back off for Proctor. And now a long pass ahead finds Erdahl in space down the right wing. Enters the zone, leaves for Sullivan, throws it out in front. Either hit off the pad of Neaton or the skate of Matt Miller. Either way, it was a close one on goal. RedHawks take it the other way, and a pass doesn't hook up with Dylan Moulton cleanly. It's Waldron working 1-on-2 on the near half wall, and the numbers win for the Mavericks as it is lifted the other way by Miller. RedHawks bang it back where it came from. Moulton's dump-in attempt got blocked, and now the RedHawks turn it over out near half ice as Miller tried to dance past Clement, but the puck was poked away. Dukovac circling back in his own end, and will fling it to the near side for P.J. Fletcher, who gets it into the zone and will now try to buy some time, wrapping it to the far wing as his teammates go for changes. Kumlin from the right point of drive. Save made. It's loose up in the air, falls in the slot, but Barbolini had a stick lifted, and it's directed to the far wall.
Nice shot there by Kumlin. We know he has a rocket.
We saw it yesterday.
That's right.
Bremer kind of got spun around, and Fletcher tried to ring his bell. Didn't really get everything of him as Omaha gets it up the ice, and it's Lansdale, far corner of the Miami zone. Now backing in towards the slot area. He'll leave it off on the left point for Griffin Ludke. And now from the left wing, a shot through traffic, and the wrister by Bremer is deflected wide. Right corner, there's some work from Ludke, who got a lot of ice time yesterday on the third defensive unit for Omaha, but he can't hold possession. RedHawks, though, failed to clear. Matthew Barbolini could have skated it out, tried to make a pass laterally, and it went to nobody as the Mavericks bang it back in. RedHawks outlet it up the far side, and it is Barbolini skating it ahead. Ran into a rough patch on the ice, bobbled the puck, regathered, and now gets to the right corner of the Omaha zone. Finally loses possession of it, but it's Taransky getting to the loose puck for Miami. And he will go to work on it. Finally, his pocket picked by Ty Muller, who will give it across the ice for Jack Randall, who chips it down the right wing. RedHawks will give it back out to center, and Ludke puts it back in the zone. Mavericks have some stragglers in there delayed offside, and so the RedHawks will regroup it. Albin Nielsen, one of the many seniors honored pregame for senior night. First season with the RedHawks, transferred in from Niagara. He dumps it in.
Oh.
RedHawks tried to get it out in front. Taransky just didn't get everything on the pass, and it didn't find Daskis. The Mavericks will skate it back out and down the right wing, and mishandle gets it away from Rollwagon. Drasner gets his pocket picked, though, by Rollwagon in the far corner, and the puck is still alive for Omaha. Now behind the net, this is Ray Foust. He circles the Swiss national, throws it out in front, looking for Rollwagon, but 2 RedHawks there. Miami can't clear, though. On the left point, Mancini walks, holds, gets around Taransky, but now Taransky recovers and lifts his stick to take it away. And Taransky still working as he had some defense prodding away, but he outlets it to center ice. Miller now down the right wing back in. His wrister in a 1-on-3. Hits off the shin pad of Dempsey and well wide. A pass across the ice is deflected and misses the target. Miller with a drive for the high slot. That was a rocket, but it went high. And the RedHawks have it now high in their own zone. It's thrown down the ice and over the stick of Waldron. That is icing on Miami with 9:36 to go in the opening period. Shots are 6-2 in favor of Omaha, and we do not have a goal yet.
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, the Miami fourth line, who played about 2 shifts in the first and then not a full shift after that. Much better with P.J. Fletcher, Blake Messenberg kind of carrying it on his own there. But strong from them. First shift didn't, they had the puck most of the time they're out there. But, again, just got to get these pucks out of the zone. You got to find a way to clear them out to sticks. A couple of bad deflections, and it just ruins any chance that they get at a breakout.
Face-off was taken on the left wing side of the Omaha offensive zone. Puck is just kind of stuck below the goal line, and now the RedHawks attempt to clear, but LeMay holds it in on the left point. He'll fling it back in deep. Drasner now rims it up the near wall. Krenzen cuts it off and skates it back in deep. In the near corner, he is pasted by Daskis. Puck pops free to Ludke on the half wall. Tried to spin it up to the point, but his stick was lifted by Daskis, who got back there. We got another log jam on the near half wall. 3-on-3 on that side of the boards. Finally, the puck rolls free, and it's poked along to Sullivan on the far side for the RedHawks, who will direct it further. Paid a hefty price for it, but Waldron will skate it into the zone and quickly get stripped of possession by 2 Mavericks as Miami goes for changes.
Everybody getting their chance to get off the ice. All the forwards and the defense all looked tired during that little battle. They're just kind of standing there, not doing much.
Chris Bergeron is impassioned on the Miami bench on that group that just came off. Omaha just holding the puck in their own end right now, and now they'll play it forward. It's tipped into the zone. Erdahl swings it back, looking on the right point. It went over Sullivan's stick and will go all the way down the ice. And Erdahl got smoked
like he's hurt
in the corner by Spencer Cox, and he is keeled over at the waist and is heading off. Meanwhile, a stretch pass the other way for Miller down the right side. He spins in the right dot and will hand off for Mancini down the right wing. Thrown out in front.
Good defense.
Hit off the stick of Sullivan for Omaha, but it is knocked away. And Cox will fling it down high in the air at the height near the rafters. Barbolini bumps into Lansdale, but Proctor pulls the puck free down the right wing. Proctor stops his feet, top of the right circle, plays it across, and it hits Bremer off the deflection on the sidewall. He plays up for Mancini, but it got him off the heel of the stick and evades the zone back out to center as the Mavericks will regroup. 7:45 to go first period. We're scoreless between Miami and Omaha. Bremer with speed, but Barbolini stick checks him off the puck. And it's Ryquist for the near corner for the RedHawks, playing to the far wing for Spencer Cox. LIU transfer. He has been out there forever, and he will just lift this one down and finally get off as the Mavericks will regroup and send it forward. Mitchell spins down the right wing. He is nicely shielded off by Dylan Moulton before it's rimmed to the far side by Clement. Held in, though, on the point by Ludke. Near wing Gavin. His wrister through traffic. Got tipped. Ended up in the breadbasket of Logan Neaton, and he gobbles it up and holds with 7:15 to go in the first period. Wow, it had been a while. We still haven't taken the first media timeout yet of the game until now, past the midway mark with just over 7 minutes to go. No score between Miami and Omaha. Stay with us. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. West Poley, Jeff Middleton back with you. Senior night here for the Miami hockey team as the RedHawks are tied with Omaha 0-0 with just under 13 minutes gone by here from Oxford. Miami being outshot 7-2 by the Mavericks as we pass through the early goings. It's the fourth line on for the Mavericks. And for Miami, it is the third line as Taransky and Daskis are out there for the RedHawks with Nielsen. RedHawks win the faceoff and flutter it ahead. Daskis with a turnaround shot and a 1-on-2 that got knocked away with a skate out in front and never reached the net. It's Moulton from the left point for Miami, sending for Clement. His wrister got stopped in front by Taransky. Puck still alive, and it's to the far corner. Cross ice, Moulton from the left point. His wrister is up into the protective netting after taking a deflection in front. RedHawks are making it a priority to get pucks on net as we reach another media timeout. Back-to-back whistles with 6:51 to go in the first period. We'll talk it over more when we come back. No score between Miami and Omaha. You're listening to Miami Hockey on RedHawk Radio. Quick timeout to take you out of it with 6:51 to go in the first. We are scoreless between Miami and Omaha. Luke West Poley, Jeff Middleton with you. Bryan Miller has a RedHawk Radio intermission coming up when we are done with the first period. Break down the first period, look at some scores, preview period number 2 coming up. Miami being outshot 7-2 right now, but we're scoreless in the game. Offensive zone draw for the sophomore line for Miami. Sophomores plus Ryan Sullivan, the senior. Really
Ryan Sullivan's got the energy of
yeah,
a
Waldron
sophomore.
and Dukovac. It's Sullivan's first year here.
Yeah. He's been good, huh?
He has been. Cleared out to center following the face-off by the Mavericks. Very, very experienced guy for this RedHawk team and a big portal ad.
Won a national championship with UMass.
Yep, one
freshman. Scored
as a
the game-winning goal.
freshman with Greg Carvel's team.
Coach Bergeron has had nothing but good things to say about him all season long.
It's offside at the blue line. That was a crazy run by UMass that year. They beat Denver in overtime in the national semifinal in an absolutely wild game. That team was loaded. Cale McCarr was on that team for
Yeah, he's been pretty
UMass.
good too, huh?
Yeah, he's been kind of good.
Yeah, I would say that guy's all right. Could be better, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm an Adam Fox guy, so I like, mixed feelings. But
yeah. John Marino all the way.
Omaha gets it into the offensive zone. It's played out in front, and a whack at it by Bremer. Stop made by Neaton. Puck behind the net now for the RedHawks, where it is taken through and a turnover high in the zone by Vitalins. But luckily, the RedHawks navigated out past the zone before the Mavericks can take it back. It's Glynn down the left side for Bremer off the wall. He picks it up in the corner. Bremer hits the brakes behind the net, try to sauce it in front, but Dempsey shut him down. And it's back for Kumlin behind the RedHawk cage. Kumlin with one defender on him. That's Erdahl. Good to see him back out there after he got lit up by Spencer Cox and was keeled over on the bench for a number of minutes. He's back on the ice, scored the game winner yesterday. RedHawks get it up to the red line, and Dempsey will throw it high off the glass and into the zone. LeMay left it for Krenzen, who directs it further up the near wall. And Matt Miller gets hit hard, but he brings it back out to center for Erdahl. Erdahl now cutting laterally across the ice, skates across the center M and heads right. He'll flip it into the zone and chase it down. Arrives to the puck first in the near corner before he is walled up by Dylan Moulton for the RedHawks. And now Moulton will kick the puck to himself, tries to get it up for Barbolini, but it is lost in his skates. Finally, Nielsen gets to it for the RedHawks, and he will skate it free. Up the near wall, this is Middleton. RedHawks are changing. He plays it to the far side for Dempsey. Dempsey off the sidewall looking for Daskis on the bank. Missed him behind, and it'll go down for icing with 4:49 to go in the opening period. And no score between Miami and Omaha. Shot still 8-2 in favor of the Mavericks. Shot attempts 13-8 in favor of Omaha. But get this, Omaha's got more blocks. They've blocked 5 out of Miami's 8 shot attempts. RedHawks have only shot 1 attempt wide. Everything else has been either blocked or on net. Left wing side face-off for Omaha in the offensive zone. It's one straight back, and a shot came through by Foose. Save made by Neaton. Rebound was loose for a moment before he paddled it to the far boards. Nielsen from there for Miami. Back for Dempsey, who will wrap it around the near wall. And Moulton trying to get it out to center and does, as Daskis will pull it back for the RedHawks. Dempsey gets off in favor of Clement for Miami, and they've got the line set up that they're looking for with Taransky, Daskis, and Nielsen with Moulton and Clement. Nielsen has it on the far side, and he will round it into the zone. Mancini now up the near wall for Foust for Omaha. Down the right wing, he will send a cross-corner dump and laid a huge reverse hit on Albin Nielsen. That draws some stick taps from the bench for Omaha. RedHawks will dump it back out of their zone to center ice. Teams are just kind of playing wick-whack right now as we're under 4 minutes to go in the first period. And down the right wing, this is Tanner Ludke for Omaha. Ludke takes it past the blue and loses possession, but the RedHawks just chip it out. And Miami's just kind of chipping and sitting right now.
A lot of defense right now.
Ludke down the right wing for Omaha, enters the zone, steps on past Cox, who pokes the puck past him. Now it'll be poked to the far wall, where it's directed up to the point, and now sent to the near wing for Gavin. Right point shot deflected, did not get on net, and ends up wide right of the cage. Another try now from the point from Gavin, got blocked in front. RedHawks looking to go in transition, but Bazer's pass was in between the wickets of Barbolini, and Omaha takes it the other way. Randall leaves off for Ludke, dances his way in front, save made, rebound, they score.
They got a penalty.
No, they got a penalty for goalie interference. Saw this called yesterday. Logan Neaton's helmet went flying off. It was a hard cut to the net there. A nice move on the combo effort. Randall was in there with Ludke for Omaha. And Ludke just cut it across the cage. Neaton came out to challenge and made the initial save, but it looked like the puck squeezed between his legs. It was Ludke, that bowled him over on the edge of the blue paint. Puck just sat in the crease for a second, and Randall banged it in. But it is a penalty for goalie interference on Omaha, so the goal will not count, and Tanner Ludke will sit for 2, and Miami goes to the game's first power play. Each team had a power play goal yesterday. Oh, man, and Mike Gavin is not happy on the Omaha bench.
Yeah, I don't think Ludke's happy either, because I'm sure he feels like he got pushed in. We can look on this replay here. No, I mean, he went straight into him. Maybe the argument is that Neaton came out to play him, but he didn't leave his crease, so I think that's a good call. There was no way that Ludke was trying to get out of the way of Neaton there, so I think that's a good goalie interference call.
So Miami power play goes to work. RedHawks with a goal yesterday, up to 15.1% of the year. Wrister through traffic, sits in the crease. That was Cox that got it on net. Save was made, and now it's fluttered out past center.
Cox is really good at that. We talked about it before earlier in this year, and he did that in Denver last Friday. He had the primary assist on Barbolini's tying goal. He just managed to get shot through, and guys can get a tip on it. It's going to go in. He's fantastic at that from the blue line.
Waldron plays it to the near wing. Nobody there for Miami, and Omaha will clear with 1:21 to go in the penalty to Tanner Ludke, who sits 2 minutes for goaltender interference. First power play of the game for either team. Both teams had a tally on the power play yesterday. Omaha waited until the third period after getting 3 chances in the first. It took their 4th power play to score the goal. Both these teams struggling on the man advantage. Miami gets it into the zone, but it's partially chipped out past center, and a deflected puck finds Randall. He drags and shoots. Stopped by Neaton. It trickles in behind him, but he falls backward on it and holds on. A one-on-one rocket that time from Jack Randall, the graduate student. 11 goals on the year for him. Neaton got it with the right pad, just needled it out to stop that puck, and then covered up the trickle with 53 seconds left to go in the penalty. 2:08 to go in the first period. And it's still a scoreless hockey game as Miami wins the faceoff in their own end. It's a 1-1-2 look on the penalty kill for Omaha in the neutral zone right now as the RedHawks bring it up. It's Dukovac down the right wing with plenty of space. Dukovac will now circle the net and blew a tire in the corner. And Krenzen will hand it up for Randall. Banks it off the wall for Muller. But Kumlin will shield it away from him and now circle it back towards his own end. 25 seconds left to go in the minor penalty. It started strong with the chance for Cox. Nothing since. Pass to the far side, hopped up on Ryquist, and he deflected it into the Miami bench. So we will get a face-off. We'll have to check on location with 21 seconds left to go in the penalty. 1:36 to go in the first. It will come with the neutral dot in front of the RedHawk bench on the far side. Shots 12-3 in favor of the Mavericks. No score.
The passes just haven't been good enough in this period. There's been a lot of miscommunications. There's been a lot of passes too far. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. It's kind of, repeating the same things over and over again, but a lot of passes that just miss their targets, and it causes Omaha to go the other way. I mean, that rush from Jack Randall was a result of a bad pass that tipped off the stick of a Miami forward. So he's got to, be more patient, be more disciplined.
RedHawks get it back into the offensive end. As time expires, Middleton with a wraparound try, and he was stuffed by Licozzi on the far post as a penalty expires. Licozzi will hold with 1:12 to go in the first period.
I saw him doing that rush. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Here we go. He's been doing that this year. Middleton has loved to jump into the rush, especially this year.
He has definitely increased the frequency that he has been a part of the offense for this team.
The success rate might be a little bit of the same, but the frequency is happening is absolutely right. It's a lot more than we've seen.
Does have 5 goals this year, which actually is kind of news to me, if I'm being entirely honest. It hasn't really felt like that.
No, only 1 assist.
Yeah.
He's an elite goal scorer. What can he say?
Omaha clears it into the Miami end as we cross under 1 minute to play in the opening period. 0-0 between the RedHawks and the Mavericks. Finishes to periods have been brutal on the RedHawks in NCHC play. On the left point, this is Ludke. Back to the far wing. A shot whistles wide on the wrister from Gavin. Ludke holds it now on the right point and plays it back in deep, where Clement will shield off the puck and play it up the wall for Miami. Daskis chipping it out past center. And now Tanner Ludke will pull this free and back it up into his own end with 31 seconds left to go in the opening period. Griffin Ludke now on the far wing from the dot. Heading forward. Slap shot pass is off the stick of Bremer. The RedHawks take it away. Vitalins down the left wing side. Puck dangerously scoots towards the middle, and Drasner plays it in deep, where Barbolini will spin it to the near wing with 12 seconds to go. Vitalins pinned up against the wall. Omaha going to try to run this out as it's still locked up in the battle with 4 seconds, 3, 2, and 1, and that will end the time in the first period. Similar large shots lead for Omaha here on night 2. Only difference is we're still tied after the first period of play. No score between the RedHawks and the Mavericks here on Saturday night after 20 minutes. Unclean first period for Miami, Jeff. Passes are not tape to tape. It's lacked some of that crispiness that we have seen when the RedHawks have been clicking offensively. Effort was okay. Could probably still click it up a couple more notches for this Miami team, but certainly not as bad as it was yesterday if you want to take a positive out of it and you're tied on the scoreboard.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that, I mean, you mentioned it, it's a lot of broken plays, a lot of missed passes, a lot of, going over the rims around the boards are not going to the sticks like they want them to, and that's kind of what their system relies on, other than, creating chaos in front of the net and scoring. But yeah, it just wasn't the effort was much better, I would say that. I mean, it's still 4 shots, I mean, double what they had yesterday in the first period, so I guess there's that. But yeah, I mean, just kind of like, it was just kind of meh. It wasn't, it wasn't a bad effort, but not a lot happened either. They didn't really get a lot of good chances like we saw in the second and the third yesterday. So, still 40 minutes left, and you're still tied. You're going into the second period, not down a goal, which is a nice thing to have. But you got to come out and really, really push on the gas pedal.
After 20 here from Cady Arena, no score. Miami marching band will go on the ice here on senior night here from Cady Arena. Jeff and I are back in just a little bit for the second period. For now, we send it to Bryan Miller with the Red Hawk Radio intermission.
All right, thank you, fellas. Not the most eventful half, but we did get a live action there in the final 4 to 5 minutes. Quick recap of the first period. Pretty slow start from Miami and a pretty big Shot difference, definitely shots on goal. Miami's first shot on goal came 5:56 into the game. And I mean, you could see the shot on goal difference, 13-4 in favor of Omaha, and the shot difference 19-10 in favor of the Mavericks as well. Zach Erdahl, number 6 for Omaha, took a pretty big hit from Miami. We saw him talking to the trainer on the bench, but he was able to return, so we don't have to question that for the rest of the game. Not done happening until the final 4 minutes or so of the period. Omaha called for a goaltender interference. That erased the goal for the Mavericks. Penalty on Tanner Ludke. He was not happy about that. Neither was the coaching staff. But Miami was not able to capitalize opportunity on the penalty and opportunity. Frankly, they weren't able to get a whole lot going, in all honesty. While they were on the penalty, Omaha almost had a shorthanded goal by Jack Randall, but Neaton made a great save that helped save the day for the RedHawks. Key stats in the game. I mentioned it earlier. Shots 19-10 in favor of Omaha. Shots on goal 13-4 in favor of Omaha. I mentioned it earlier, the face-off percentage for Omaha versus Miami. Right now it's tied, so Miami is doing pretty good in that regard. Penalties, I mentioned the one penalty earlier for Omaha. That's been the only one so far in the game. 1-0. Just one penalty for Omaha, nothing for Miami. Block shots are, and penalty minutes as well. Just 2-minute minor for Omaha. Block shots are in favor of the Mavericks as well. 5 block shots. Miami has only had 2 so far in the game. Overall thoughts, there's honestly not a ton for me to talk about, but I would say, as Jeff mentioned earlier, the passing for Miami has to be better. It helps cause turnovers and gives opportunities for the Mavericks on the other side of the ice. And overall, I would just say have to play more disciplined, have to be more focused, play a full 60 minutes, as Bergeron mentioned last night in his presser. All right, we'll take a quick break. Up next, we will have scores around the NCHC, as well as notable scores around the NCAA hockey world. Stay tuned to Red Hawk Radio. back here on Red Hawk Radio and in Cady Arena in Oxford, Ohio. The Zambonis are out. It is the first intermission. No score, 0-0 between number 18 Omaha and the Miami RedHawks on this senior night and last home game of the season. In the NCHC, number 12 Western Michigan is at number 3 North Dakota. There's about 3 minutes left in the first period, and North Dakota is up 1-0. And number 4 Denver is at number 15 St. Cloud State. No score there. They are about to enter the first period, about 1 minute left. And then Minnesota Duluth is at number 11 Colorado College. Just starts at 8, so they'll be getting started in about 20 minutes or so. In other NCAA hockey action, number 7 Quinnipiac up 2-0 over St. Lawrence after the end of the first period. Number 9 Maine at Vermont tied 1-1. Vermont got a big upset last night, hoping to repeat that. End of the first period in Princeton as the number 10 Tigers are hosting Clarkson. Princeton is up 1-0. Number 13 Cornell up 2-0, almost at the end of the first period there. At the end of 2 periods, UMass Lowell is up 3-2 on number 14 ranked Massachusetts. And number 20 Arizona State home against Long Island University. Right now, Long Island up 1-0. And later tonight, number 6 Michigan State is at number 4 Wisconsin. And another Big Ten action, number 16 Michigan is at number 8 Minnesota. What to look for in the second period? We got about 9 minutes or so left before the second period starts. As I mentioned before, Miami needs to do a better job of passing and getting the puck in their offensive zone more often and maintaining their possessions. A lot of sloppy passes so far, and those sloppy passes have turned into turnovers even when they're on the power play. We saw one pass on the power play, and that almost ended up in a Randall goal for the Omaha Mavericks. It took a great save from Logan Neaton in order to save that. So Miami needs to do a much better job of that. I would say effort so far has been pretty good for the RedHawks. I mean, not as good as I would say like in the third period last night. But as Chris Bergeron mentioned, at that point they were desperate. I haven't seen that level of desperation so far that, frankly, in my opinion, they need to have at this point in the season for the last home game of the year and to send the seniors off on a good note and play spoiler to Omaha's tournament hopes. On the Omaha side, I thought they've played all right. Really just played more disciplined, really stay out of the penalty box. I mean, that seems obvious. I thought they've played pretty well, to be honest. I would say they've outplayed Miami so far in the game. I would say they need to do a better job on the faceoffs since they have a clear advantage over the RedHawks in that particular area. But right now it's 50-50. So if they're able to take advantage of that, that gives more possessions to the Mavericks, and they might be able to capitalize on some possessions here and maybe even get a goal or two here. This is usually the second periods have not been kind to Miami. It was not kind to them last night. We heard Chris Bergeron. He sounded pretty upset last night that they haven't been able to play a full 60 so far this season and follow the game plan. So I thought they did a pretty good job of that in the first period, but we'll see if they're able to continue doing that in the second period. We will take another quick break. In the next segment, a couple more final thoughts, and then we'll send it back to Luke and Jeff for some second period action here on Red Hawk Radio. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio and Cady Arena, home of the Miami RedHawks. We have about 4:20 left until the first period. Still waiting on the RedHawks and Mavericks to get back on the ice, but the ice is all zambonied, cleared. We're all good to go for the second period. Quick reminder of what the first half was all about. Still 0-0, pretty slow start from Miami. Big shot on goal difference, 12-4 in favor of Omaha. Omaha had a goal taken away on a goalie interference on Jack Randall, or Tanner Ledke, pardon me. But then on the power play for Miami, Omaha had a shot by Jack Randall that was saved by Logan Neaton. And I mean, as far as action goes, that's pretty much it so far in this first period for Miami. I would say passing has to be better, prevent turnovers in the offensive side of the ice, and prevent Omaha from getting a transition opportunities as we saw on that power play. For Omaha, I think they have to do a better job of their face-offs. They have a big advantage over Miami in that area, and it's 6-6. It's 50-50 right now. And I'd say they just have to keep up the pressure on Miami. As we've seen in previous games, this is usually the point where they would break. I'd say for Miami, they just need to keep on fighting, keep on playing hard, try to get some more opportunities in their side of the zone. As we mentioned earlier in the pregame, we had a goalie change for Miami. Logan Neaton is in for Bruno Bruveras, and I think Neaton has done a tremendous job. He had one great save, as I mentioned earlier, on the Miami power play. And outside of that, he's had a few more saves. He hasn't gotten a ton of help from his offense, but I think he's done a pretty good job given the circumstances of the situation. We have the refs starting to come out, and it looks like the teams are about to come out right now. We have about 1:50 left until the second period. Pretty packed house tonight here in Cady Arena. Love to see the fans come out for the senior night. Hope to give the seniors one last win before they head off to Western Michigan next week, and then head off to the conference tournament the week after that. All right, we have about 1:25 left. It is time to send it to Luke West Poley and Jeff Middleton. Take it away, fellas.
Bryan, thank you. No score between Miami and Omaha after one period of play here from Cady Arena. So glad you're joining us for one final time here this season with Jeff Middleton. I'm Luke West Poley. As the RedHawks got outshot 12-4 in that first period, Jeff, but even on the scoreboard, despite what happened yesterday in a similar type of period, hoping the legs can come back in this second like they did last night.
Yeah, and I think, I'm sure part of it is Logan Neaton's good to be back in net. See him, he made some huge saves. Some of those shots, it could be 1-0, 2-0 if Logan Neaton wasn't in the net. But thankfully they've got their starter back in the crease, and he's given them a chance to win this game just after that first period alone. If he can stop 12 shots all in the first and Miami can continue to play defense, I mean, the shot difference in attempts is not that much different. I mean, Omaha still leads 19-10, but yesterday it was a difference of 20 instead of 9. So another good stat, sort of, for the RedHawks. Not great, but, I mean, after yesterday's performance, like Chris Bergeron said postgame, it can't get any worse. So he said the bar it's only getting better because the bar was so low to begin with. So this second period needs to be better for sure. But I mean, we've seen what the RedHawks can do against Omaha. We saw it yesterday. They outshot them for the final 2 periods. So they can keep their foot on the gas, put their foot on the gas here, starting their first line and keep this. This first line needs to get it going. They were really good yesterday. They were pretty consistent yesterday as well. They were a line that Chris Bergeron could really depend on. So see what they can do here on this starting shift to set the tone here.
Omaha in the black uniforms moving right to left in the second. Miami and the home whites moving left to right. Mavericks win the opening faceoff as we are underway in period number 2. It's Ludke down the right side, leaving it off for Mancini, who wasn't inside the zone. He'll have to regroup it back out to center, starting 5-on-5 here in the second period. Miami got the game's only power play, generated a chance about 10 seconds into it, and then didn't really do that much afterward. RedHawks with a steal out near the red line as it's Fletcher that dumps it in around the wall back to the near wing. Barbolini pushes it further in deep for the RedHawks. Mavericks trying to force it up the wall, but Drasner has that sealed. Puck pops free for Vitalins. Outward for Ryquist now, who has it on the backhand, gets to his forehand and throws it across. It's deflected high off the glass where Drasner grabs it left point. Inward Vitalins with a shot. Blocker saved by Lacozi. Don't think he saw it as he was screened. Now a one-timer from Ryquist on the left point. Didn't have a ton on it. Got deflected in front by a Maverick defender into the protective netting. 52 seconds into the second period, and there's jump, Jeff, to this Miami team in the second period.
That's exactly right, and that's the first shift you want. I mean, you said we need to make you need to set the tone really well here, and they did. That first line, like you said yesterday, was really good, and that's a shift that they we saw from them yesterday a lot towards the back half of the game, and even in the first period a little bit. They were kind of the only line in that first period that could really do anything.
It is Waldron, Dukovac, Sullivan on for Miami. Mavericks win the faceoff. And up the near wall, Erdahl couldn't handle it out near center ice. The RedHawks take it away. Waldron's pass misses Sullivan, ends up being kind of a cross-corner dump of sorts as the Mavericks will just grab it and clear it all the way down. This will get waved just short of icing as Jack Clement reaches it and will put it back behind the net where some heavy Maverick forecheck comes in, and the RedHawks are having a lot of trouble. Sullivan on it for the Mavericks. Clement working on him, and the puck eventually falls into the right circle where Sullivan has it down the right wing off for Waldron. Waldron enters the zone. His pass through the middle hit off a skate and comes back out past center ice where Clement will back it into his own end. Minute and a half gone by, second period, scoreless between Miami and Omaha. Just past the center red, Waldron will throw a bouncing puck in that Lacozi handles. Now behind the net, LeMay gets thrown into the wall by Dukovac as it's wrapped up the near side. Kumlin holds the right point for the RedHawks. Taransky now spinning, and he will jam it along the wall back in deep to hold it into the zone for the RedHawks. Daskis in the far corner tucks it in for Nielsen behind the Maverick net. Nielsen banks it off the far wall, and it's Dempsey pinching in to push it back in deep for the RedHawks. Nielsen up for the right point, pass got deflected. Kumlin fires it through, and it's tipped in. Artur Taransky out in front on a wrister that had eyes. The shot from the right point was not a particularly hard one, but Taransky was all alone, and in a puck that was tracking right towards the breadbasket of Simon Lacozi. Taransky gets the tip on it. Miami is on the scoreboard first with the Slovaks' third of the year. It's 1-0 RedHawks, 2 minutes and 12 seconds into period number 2.
Yeah, and it was a deflection by the Omaha player that kind of put the puck right on the stick of Kumlin. It was Brock Bremer, excuse me, that kind of poked the puck away to try and chip it out and went right to Kumlin. Kumlin just threw it from the point. And Taransky was kind of cutting across the net there, just put a nice deflection on it as we're going to have a stoppage. Looks like a pane of glass is broken over there. Wondering if this was
the same pane?
It might be. I'm wondering if this is the same
area. We've had one broken glass pane so far this season during a game.
North Dakota, that Saturday game, or the Friday game, I believe it was due to a...
It's not that pane, it's the one directly next to it. It's in that same area of the ice on the far side near the hashes in the what is currently the Miami offensive zone here in the second period.
If I had to guess, it would be the same reason that the pane of glass broke against North Dakota was because a fan with a ring on was smacking the glass, and they have those signs on the glass that say warning rings may break glass, and that's, I mean, there was no action over there as far as the celebration was concerned.
Yeah, literally everything. I mean, probably all 5 guys for both teams, being entirely honest, were on the near side of the ice.
At least when the play was going on.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, you can see it on the replay break. You can see they did go and celebrate over there as Taransky cut across the slot. And then the camera moves to the celebration. Yeah, it was a fan with a ring on. You can see it happen on the replay.
Goodness. All right, well, that'll give us a stoppage with 17:48 to go in the second period. Miami's taking a 1-0 lead over Omaha. Man, it is nice, though, to see Archer Taransky get on the score sheet. I mean, he's a guy that, Chris Bergeron has said it a lot, he's a guy that you look at his career overseas in his youth and playing juniors and such, that he was a scorer, and then he came here, and the skill set was still there, but he just wasn't scoring. And Taransky's a great kid on this team, and, you know, he's a pretty grounded guy, but he said, you know, it's obviously frustrating when you play your whole life as that kind of player. And, I mean, for the better part of his first 2 years here, he's gotten plenty of chances, and, you know, the expected goals are probably more than the actual goals for Taransky. So good to see him get some sort of tangible reward at least to get on the sheet. And that's a big goal for Miami in the game.
Yeah, you want to talk about a guy that Chris Bergeron talks well about all the time, and just the, you know, there are very few players that are at 100% effort all the time, every game, and Artur Taransky is one of those guys. He's a really fast player, and not only really fast, but he's an efficient player with his skating. He's a big part of this forecheck, and part of the reason that they scored that goal is because of Taransky's ability to forecheck. He's just a fantastic skater all around the ice, and in the offensive zone especially, he's been fantastic all season long, not even just in last year as well. He was a big part of that sophomore line like we talked about earlier in this game with Helene and Dukovac.
He was brought in. He's pretty Americanized by the standards of European hockey. He's been playing in the U.S. since he was about 15 years old, played for the South Kent School, prep school up in, I believe, Connecticut, and then played for a junior program in the North American League that Chris Bergeron has a great connection with the Lone Star Brahmas. That's where Ludwig Pearson came from, who was the Red Hawk goaltender the last couple years, and that's where Chris Bergeron's son, Connor, currently plays in the North American League. And Taransky, 66 points in 60 games in 2021-22 for Lone Star in the North American League. 28 goals as well in 60 games. I mean, he is a naturalized goal scorer. And so they are continuing to replace this pane of glass. If you're just joining us,
I'm just trying to find it on there. It's so funny that you can actually see that on the replay.
You can just perfectly see it. It is on the far side, and John Elliott, Director of Operations here at Goggin Ice Center, and the crew, Brandon Hall, rest of those guys, getting everything working. They got the suction cups out.
Love Brandon. Brandon's my guy.
Brandon is my former boss.
Yeah.
Great guy to work for. I can speak from personal experience. He should be putting his son to work. His son, Jack Hall, has worked here for a really long time.
I saw Jack yesterday.
Yeah, and he is off to college. He's a freshman now at Mount Vernon Nazarene up near Columbus. And he's back this weekend with the group on spring break, but he told me yesterday he's not working. So,
yeah, no, Jack's a good kid. Plays lacrosse over there. He's a good kid to be around. And his dad is a very funny guy.
Really funny guy.
Used to work ops. I worked ops last year and got to hang out with Brandon a lot.
I worked for a full summer, 7 to 10 a.m., 5 days a week with Brandon Hall, and that was a lot of fun. He made that experience a lot more fun than it should have been.
Yeah. You never really realize how much criticism you can receive until you work with Brandon Hall. But it's good criticism.
In a great way.
Exactly.
Yes. Taught me how to sharpen skates like a pro. I was 2 months away from learning how to drive Zam, and then I quit. So
yeah,
oh well.
I learned how to drive. I did a couple rounds, and then got too busy.
They gave me the low on the totem pole responsibility of, if you don't know how ice installation works, don't ever learn how to do it. They essentially turn the temperature down in the rink to what it actually is. If you're wondering why it's never cold in Cady Arena, it's because of the refrigeration system they use actually doesn't cool down the ice. It pulls the heat out of the ice. That's kind of the elementary explanation of how it works. But in order to get the ice in the first place, it does have to be cold. And so I remember I worked 2 7-hour shifts in the summer of, it was 2021. And you basically get on a John Deere Gator and you fill up a giant 100-gallon tank that's on the back of it, and you basically drive the Zamboni route over the ice over and over and over again, and they shut all the doors to the rink and turn the temperature down to about a little under 20 degrees. It was very, very cold.
So that couldn't have been a pleasant experience.
It was not. And they do that a couple times a year. And we talked about how good these guys are at their job. one of the things I really learned from Brandon is, like, ice making is an art, and there are some rinks that don't really take it seriously. They just kind of want to have ice out there. They really, really, really care about having good quality ice here at Cady Arena. And John Elliott and his crew do really a fantastic job with this rink in this building. And just got a shout out as the paint is set. John Elliott just sprinted off the ice.
He was yelling something to.
Yeah, it looks like they've got everything back in place. And
they're keeping the doors open, though, so they must have something that they need to.
Have to check. Don't think the pane, it looked like it remained intact. I don't think we have any glass on the ice, but yeah, they have gone into the back rooms of Goggin Ice Center, and yeah, the one end door is closed.
The linesman's about to drop the puck, and the door's still open.
The Zamboni doors are still open.
Nice.
Yeah, referee now, Bryan Hankies, is skating down there to try to figure out what's going on.
It's my man Daryl talking to him.
Love Daryl.
They love him. He's a good dude.
Very, very, very hardworking person.
That's right.
I used to catch him at the tail end of his shift, and then he would leave and go drive a school bus. He worked 2 jobs.
Yeah, we'd always work until about midnight together, so.
I mean, he would work all night and then get up early in the morning and go drive a bus all day. Like, I mean, his work ethic is just unreal. You have to like that to do it.
Yes,
I mean, and that goes for everybody that works here, the building ops, everything like that. I mean, it is a tough, tough, tough job. John Elliott has just reappeared from the door on the other side of the rink and just walked down the Miami tunnel, it looks like. So
interesting. They say play on, though.
They've got all the doors closed. Looks like we're ready to go. All right, Artur Turansky just scored a goal 2 minutes and 12 seconds into the second period. It was delayed after the celebration from a fan broke a pane of glass, but the puck is down, and we are underway once again. RedHawks bringing up the left wing, and it's Matthew Barbolini with the breaks, and will now fire it in deep to the Maverick zone. It's Randall on the near half wall, chopping it further past Ryquist, and now Ludke will spin it for Muller on the far side. Ty Muller down the right side, and Cox tried to lay into him, and
that's
didn't really
a bad
do a great
turnover.
job. Turnover underneath the goal line. Muller got a point-blank chance, but fanned on the shot. Randall now has it from the near half wall. Ryquist muscling into him. Ludke pulls it free. Cross-point pass to Gavin. He walks, shoots. Bad save made. Neaton. Rebound high in the left circle, and Ludke will bring it up center point. His wrister high over the glass, and it deflects up into the protective netting. We get a whistle with 17:06 to go in the second period, and Miami leading 1-0, and it looked like the RedHawks were going to, following that break, a little bit of a momentum killer, push Omaha on their heels again, but it was short-lived in the O zone, and then a couple good Maverick chances.
Yeah, good rush from Barbolini down the far side, but just not able to keep it in the zone, and then the Mavericks come down the other way and just kind of take control. Spencer Cox went for a hit, but then wasn't able to recover, and I believe it was Hampus Rydquist that turned the puck over right in front of the net. Neaton was lucky that the Mavericks forward there that had it whiffed, otherwise that would have been a goal.
Yeah, it was Ty Muller that from the bottom of the left circle swatted a stick at it.
That's not who you want to give the puck to.
No, it's not. 9 goals on the season, 24 points in 30 games for the draft choice of the Vancouver Canucks. Puck is in the Miami end. It's Jack Clement in front of the Zamboni doors. Rims it up to the near side for Sullivan through center. Waldron touch pass to the far side for Moulton. He shoots, and that's off a stick into the netting over the Omaha net with 16:32 to go in the second. And the delays are piling up. We're getting a lot of whistles here early goings of this second. Miami leads Omaha 1-0. Shots in favor of the Mavericks 13-7. Miami's puts out Turansky, Nilsson, and Daskis with Simonovics and Kumlin. And arguably the best deep pairing this weekend for the RedHawks as RedHawks win the faceoff. Simonovics with a shot, and that got stopped on the one-time attempt by Lacozi. Puck alive on the near wall, and Turansky floated it up to the right point where Simonovics holds. Puck pops high in the air, and Simonovics will swipe it in deep. Mancini trying to spin around off Nielsen. Both of them blew a tire. Mancini to his feet first, and he will fling it out of the zone where Simonovics recovers it back in the Miami end. Simonovics plays catch with Kumlin, has it back now down the right wing, And will hand off for Taransky, who sidesteps past Erdahl and enters the zone. Taransky makes his way to the net front, tried to throw it on, but his stick was lifted. Still has it, and now pushes it in deep for Waldron. Over to from a sharp angle shot. Messenberg got stopped. Another one in the left circle from Taransky, and that got patted away by Lacozy as well. Erdahl now down the right side. Kumlin steps in his way, and Erdahl will pump it in deep. Simonovic's behind the Miami net as both teams complete their changes. 15:37 to go, second period. 1-0 RedHawks. Shots in favor of Omaha by 4, but starting to close the gap a little bit are the Miami RedHawks after trailing by a lot after the first period. Waldron down the right side. The sophomore flings an area pass to the far wing that Messenberg whacks at twice and gets it into the zone, but now quickly back out for Omaha going the other way. Brock Bremer lost control of the puck as he stepped around Simonovics, and Rehards now has it behind the Miami net as he will fend off Glynn. But now, Glynn,
not sure I like that.
Yeah, pins him up against the wall as Simonovics just decided to go back towards his net again. And a battle ensues, and the RedHawks cleared up to the left point, but LeMay holds. To the far wing, Krenzen walking down the wall, banks it to himself, and now leaves off for LeMay at the hashes. He pushes it in deep behind the Miami net. Joakim LeMay backhands one in front that just went through everybody and gets out of the zone. Krenzen back to get it in the neutral area for Omaha. And he'll play it near side for Bremer, who heads down the left wing. Into the zone, Bremer cuts to the high slot. Forced up center point, now right point he fires. Ryquist blocked the wrister, and the RedHawks push it to the near wing where Omaha will vacate as they go for a change. Vitalins plays it back behind the Miami net for his countryman, not his countryman, Hampus Ryquist, fellow European, as the RedHawks play it up the far side, and it's tipped into the bench. 6 and 9 really throw me for a loop as it's Vitalins, the Latvian, and Nilsson, who is from Sweden. 14:20 to go, second period, and it is 1-0 Miami as we get a neutralized draw.
Still a much better effort.
Yeah, a lot better effort from Miami in this period as they're starting to close the shots gap and obviously taking the lead in this game.
Still a lot of time, though.
Yeah.
And we know how these Mavericks do, and that's going to be a penalty on Barbolini.
Barbolini tripped up Tanner Ludke, who is down, and Barbolini's kind of hanging over him.
Ludke went into the boards a little awkward. I think he was down for a minute.
He was a little shaken up. He did get up.
On his own.
That'll send Barbolini to the box, and that will send an Omaha power play that was 1 for 4 yesterday to go to work with 14:09 to go in the second period, trailing 1-0.
We saw the kind of puck movement that this Omaha power play has, a lot of up and down through the seams. They're really good at finding those lanes, and the Miami penalty kill is going to have a lot of work for them to do on this in these 2 minutes. I mean, we just talked about it's been a better effort so far this period, but a lot of time, and this penalty could really be a backbreaker. But Miami's penalty kill needs to hold strong against a really talented Omaha power play.
Face-off win by the Mavericks, and off they go. Miami defended well for about 90 seconds of the power play that they gave up the goal on yesterday. It was the last power play. Gave up the goal with about 15 seconds left in it.
He's going to get a penalty for that,
Sullivan's going to get a penalty for a hit from behind. It is also on Ludke. And this time he is, again, slow to get up. And Sullivan just drilled him right in the numbers. It wasn't an incredibly hard hit, but it was straight from behind. And that's going to send Sullivan to the box. And it
crowd
will
is
be
not happy.
Yeah, a long 5-on-3 for the Mavericks.
That's just, for as much as Ryan Sullivan brings to you, that's just a really undisciplined play. I mean, it wasn't a super hard hit. Ludke was able to get up under his own power, which is good to see. But you know, he turned right at the last second, and Sullivan was trying to finish the check and just went through his numbers. And you know, no matter if Ludke put himself in that position or not, you can't do that. You're going to get called for that every time.
So a 5-on-3 for the next minute 48, and then 12 seconds of power play time for Omaha, trailing 1-0 with 13:56 to go in the second. Off the draw, Ludke with a one-timer. It's blocked by Clement. RedHawks going with Clement and Fletcher up top and Moulton down low. This is Griffin Ludke across. A shot by Tanner is blocked with the stick by Fletcher.
Good read on that pass.
Down in the right circle, it's bobbled by Miller. Moulton has it, just trying to press it up against the boards, but the Mavericks do get it free. He had no chance to clear that puck. Ludke pushes to the far wing for Ty Muller. Up top, he plays it back for Ludke in the circle. Tip through, it's off the post behind Neaton. It bounces back between his legs and he covers.
Wow.
It got tipped by him, hit off the left post and ricocheted through his legs the opposite direction and Moulton gobbles it up. Check that, Neaton gobbles it up with 1:14 left to go in the 5-on-3 and 13:22 to go in the second. It remains a 1-0 Miami lead.
Yeah, I mean, some good defending there from Miami, but obviously a very fortunate bounce. It hits off the post, off a deflection in the slot, and then goes right back between Neaton's pads. Watching the replay here, yeah, he just went right between, and then popped right back out in front, actually. It went through his pads and then right in front of him, too, so he had to cover that up with his glove.
Griffin Ludke has it, throws it in the direction of the net from the left side, and that got blocked in behind the cage. Miami's got 2 guys below the goal line, but got to be careful as Omaha pulls it free, and up the near side, it is played up top for Griffin Ludke. Ludke plays to the far wing for Muller, and now this is Tanner Ludke from the left point. Pushing down in deep for Matt Miller, who walks up to the point and just softly plays it to the corner where Ludke will pick it back up. Tanner Ludke from the left point, walking to the circle, puts it into the corner, and now back up top, a one-timer by Griffin Ludke. They score through traffic from the center point, up high in the slot. Griffin Ludke, brother of Tanner, who drew both of those penalties with the one-timer between the wickets. It's a power play goal on the 5-on-3. Still more time coming up for Omaha on the power play, and they've knotted up the game at 1.
Yeah, and you felt that coming, right? I mean, Miami was unable to get it clear the entire 5-on-3. I mean, those are hard to get anyway on a 5-on-3, but there were a couple times where they could have shot it down and weren't able to, and then, you know, the fortunate bounce right through Neaton's pads right out front on a great deflection by Jack Randall in the slot, and then Griffin Ludke just found an opening and was able to pinch the defense in far enough to where they walked into the top of the circles and just fired one home on a one-timer.
So at 7:18, assist to Miller and Tanner Ludke. A power play goal on the 5-on-3. Still 30 seconds of power play time as a shot comes in by LeMay, and that got blocked. The rebound was loose in front. LeMay tried to throw it back towards the slot area, and Messenberg cleared. Fletcher applying some pretty hard power play forecheck here with 15 seconds left to go in the penalty to Ryan Sullivan. Down the left wing, this is Nolan Sullivan. Toe drags through and heads behind the net before a backhand sauce finds Bremer on the near wing. Bremer walking it across, leaves center point for LeMay. Down the left lane, shoots. It got crumpled up in the equipment of Jack Clement, and Miami will clear, and Sullivan is out of the box as the RedHawks are back at full strength. So Miami goes 1 for 2 on the 5-on-3 kill. Omaha's tied the game at 1 with 11:44 to go in the second period. Moose tried to dance through 2 RedHawk defenders. They were having none of that as they swatted to the far side. That shot, the goal I should say, was the only shot that Omaha had on goal during the power play. Ellis with a steal. Up top, works to the right circle, waiting. Nothing's open. Now he circles the net to the left side, throws it in front and hit off a skate and went just wide right of the cage. It was off a RedHawk defender. Puck still alive. Krenzen wanted the one-timer, but it wasn't in the wheelhouse. He plays it down to the corner where Ellis is getting hounded by Kumlin. Ellis will hand off, though, for Fust on the near half wall, and now Erdahl gets pinned. RedHawks do pull it away. It's Barbolini banking off the wall for Daskus. He had no idea the puck was there. It does at least get out to center for Miami before Omaha bangs it back in and goes for a change. Past the 9-minute mark, second period, 1-1 our score between Miami and Omaha after the Mavericks tied the game, I should say, on the goal by Griffin Ludke. Down the right wing, Taransky enters the zone, and he gets pounded by Proctor up along the near wall. Taransky, though, sticking with it in the corner, and now it is pulled away by Ty Muller, who gets locked up in a battle before flinging it out towards the net front. Teammate there to help him. It's Victor Mancini. His pass to the far side missed the target, looking for Ludke. It'll go down for icing on the Mavericks with 10:26 to go in the middle period. Game tied at 1. RedHawks and Mavericks getting closer by the minute in shots at 14-11 in favor of the road team. Still tied at 1.
Yeah, this is where you'd like to see this first line again generate some energy for you. We've talked about it before, how this RedHawks team can just seemingly find a way to just generate energy out of thin air. And this first line has enough skill to do it. Enough skill and speed, I should say.
Randall with plenty of speed. He delayed at the blue line. That's offside.
Oh.
Kind of gets dumped by Ryquist. It's a little off balance.
No penalty, though.
Yeah, Randall's barking at Ryquist, and the officials are going to go talk to him.
Ryquist being like, what did I do?
So that will take us to a timeout on the ice. 10:17 to go, second period. Miami and Omaha trade goals here in the second. It's 1-1. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. 10:17 to go, second period. Luke West Poley, Jeff Middleton with you. Final home game of the year for the Miami hockey team. And the fourth game of a packed weekend here on Red Hawk Radio. We'll get you wrapped up tomorrow afternoon with baseball in a 5-game weekend. 1-1 our score between the RedHawks and the Mavericks here on night 2. Omaha, who is currently on the outside looking into the at-large tournament conversation. The cutoff right now, based off projections, is 14th in the pairwise. Mavericks jumped from 18th to 16th yesterday. Need to come away with 2 wins this weekend. Miami looking to salvage something on senior night. RedHawks dump it into the Omaha end, and on the far side, Barbolini dumps his man, as it was nearly an undisciplined turnover from Ty Muller, but the RedHawks can't field it cleanly, and Randall heads the other way, trying to sauce it towards the slot, but Ryquist stepped in his way, and now Vitalin's, he got kind of tangled up.
I don't know how that's not a trip.
And Ludke is on top of him, as now Griffin Ludke takes it the other way, hands for Muller, plenty of space down the left side, drags and shoots, it's blocked right back to him, in the right circle, backhands it in front, puck worms free on the near side, where Barbolini will grab it and whip it up to the left point. LeMay backing it up from there in the Omaha offensive zone.
Barbolini needs to be careful here.
Yeah, he is whacking away at Ludke. Poke check steals it away for the RedHawks now as Ryquist will lift this one down the ice. And Krenzen got there right in the nick of time to draw the icing.
Jeez.
That was awfully close.
Yeah, wow.
And it'll come back into the RedHawks end, and there's some tired bodies out there for Miami.
I mean, I think
Chris Bergeron might be calling timeout here.
Or he's trying to figure out. It wasn't necessary. He didn't get the stick in the skates, but his stick kind of pushed him off balance, and then Vitalin's fell on his stick. It was Ludke that he literally let go of his stick here on the near side. I mean, I'm a little shocked it wasn't called, but nonetheless, can't focus on that if you're the RedHawks. Can't focus on that at all. You got to keep pushing forward.
Mavericks win the faceoff, and on the right side, a shot is ripped high.
That's why.
By LeMay. Now a second effort from Erdahl, and that is gloved down by Neaton.
Ooh.
The RedHawks will chip it off the glass and out into the Omaha bench. Nice catch, by the way, Seth Isley.
Backup goalie
for Omaha.
Snag that one.
Got it out of the air. That does allow the RedHawks to change, so they'll get new legs on the ice. It's Waldron, Dukovac, Sullivan, Moulton, Clement with 9:04 to go in the second period, tied up at 1. Faceoff comes back into Miami's end. It's on the far side. And the faceoff is between Tyler Rollwagon and John Waldron, and the RedHawk wins it as it's up the near wall for Sullivan on the breakout attempt, trying to swing it through the middle, but puck got knocked back to the near board. Sullivan pries it free and now skates it through center from there. Waldron got hung up on the blue line. It was close, but it is onside, according to the near side linesman Chris Williams. On the far wall, Sullivan bodies his man off the puck and now throws it up to the point for Moulton. He'll push it back in deep where Dukovac secures it for Miami. Dukovac working in a tight space, and he'll just backhand it in for Waldron. Tucks it for Sullivan. His shot save made by Licozzi. Puck still alive. Mancini has it in the near corner, and he will put it off the wall for Fust on the far side. He throws it back below the Omaha goal line. Mancini after it, throws it high off the glass. Moulton had it glance off his glove, but couldn't hold on to it. It's taken across the center red by Mitchell, and he will dump it in. RedHawks regroup it quickly. As Waldron kind of slide tackled Mitchell there unintentionally. Pass to the far side, rather, misses Tanyan Baser in stride.
By the fan.
It was deflected into the netting, or the stands, I should say, and about 2 rows below a Dylan Moulton face sign. That's where all the parents are sitting here on senior night.
Got a couple of fatheads.
Somebody got it.
Got Daskis, Barbolini, Hampus Rydquist.
I hope it's not offensive to people from your land to say that those might be Dylan Moulton fans wearing cowboy hats from Nolensville, Tennessee.
No. That's normal. That's what you wear every day.
Jeff Middleton is our Nashville influence here on Red Hawk Radio.
Right.
RedHawks dump it back in. I'm so uncultured coming from here. This is just all, Oxford is in my blood.
Well, we just wear cowboy boots and ride on horses all the time. It's why you see so many bachelorette parties wearing cowgirl hats. That's all it is.
Out in front, working to the middle. Mitchell had it knocked away by Neaton. Do they have cars in Nashville or no?
No, we just ride on horse and wagons.
Okay.
That's all we do.
It's
why traffic is so bad.
There's a lot of Tesla chargers there.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
It's ripped back into the Miami end with 7:17 to go in the second period. Some forecheck being applied, and it was an attempt to throw it out in front by Ty Muller, but it got knocked away. Baser lights up Proctor. Fully lifted him up along the wall, and that brought the Miami bench to their feet. Omaha still with it. Shot from the right point goes well wide into the corner by Mancini. Might have taken a deflection. Randall steals it away from the Mavericks. His wraparound got stuffed by Neaton. Puck is behind the Miami net now, where Randall is still going after it. There's a shattered stick on the ice. Messenberg got upended. Looks to the official, but that kind of looked like his own doing. Mancini center point. His shot got blocked by his
that's going to be a penalty.
And Spencer Cox just dumped Randall, and that's going to bring a penalty.
Randall's giving him the business now. He's chirping right in his face.
Spencer Cox was working in the net front with Randall, and the shot actually hit Randall in the upper body, and about a split second afterward, Cox just took two hands and just threw him down from behind.
I was going to say, the fans are upset, but Randall didn't have the puck in the slot.
Yeah,
it was clearly a cross-check.
There was no possession there, and so that will send Miami to the penalty kill. RedHawks are 1 for 2 today. It was a long 5-on-3 for Miami on the first two power plays. They took one penalty and then took another 12 seconds later. The first by Barbolini. The second was by Ryan Sullivan, and Miami got scored on that 5-on-3. And they will look to kill off the 5-on-4 time, as they are yet to be scored on the 5-on-4 here this evening. We're tied up at 1 with 6:39 to go in the second period. We'll take a short break and be back. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio.
I can't believe we've come this far. No, don't you go easy on me. Oh, baby, don't go easy on me. So, baby, don't go easy.
6:39 to go in the second period. 1-1 our score. Miami to the penalty kill for the third time in this game. RedHawks are 1 for 2. As Miami had 24 seconds total time in the 5-on-4 that they were supposed to have. It ended up being a little bit more than that because of the 5-on-3 goal that was scored by the Mavericks. But RedHawks do win the faceoff and throw it down to begin this penalty kill. Miami looking to keep the game even at 1. The power play goal was scored for the Mavericks by Griffin Ludke on the 5-on-3, and he's got the puck right now, bringing it forward. And now the Mavericks will retreat it back towards their own end. This is Tanner Ludke down the right wing. Arizona Coyotes draft pick. Tried to send it to the far wall. He was looking for Matt Miller, but he didn't move. Puck bounced in front of the Miami net.
Fanned on that one behind the net. I believe that was Clement.
He tried to clear it.
Or
Omaha
Bolton,
ends up
actually.
with it at the point. It's Griffin Ludke from the right side. Kind of shifting his feet around. Finds Randall high slot. Drags and shoots. It goes wide. Miller tried to tuck that one in the post. Neaton is flying around the crease. Thrown back in front, and Randall scores. Neaton was scrambling, did a full 360 in the Miami net. And it was a good find by Matt Miller to the top of the blue paint. Jack Randall beats Logan Neaton 5-hole. And 43 seconds into the penalty to Spencer Cox. With 5:55 to go in the second period, Omaha's got their first lead of the night at 2-1.
Yeah, I think Jack Randall gave Spencer Cox a little bit of a glance there as he went through the line. Not really shocked. It's a dumb penalty to take by Spencer Cox. And Randall's been kind of in and around it all night, looking for that goal, and he finally gets one. He's been really good tonight.
So the assists go to Matt Miller and Griffin Ludke, who's now got a 2-point game. Miller has a 2-point game as well. He's assisted on both Maverick goals, and the RedHawks will have to play from behind for the second straight night. Omaha's got it back into the Miami end as we're playing 5-on-5 once more. It's ripped to the near corner on a cross-corner dump, and Ellis has it from there for the Mavericks. Ellis skates it to the far side before Taransky wrestles that one away, and now it's Dempsey along the near wall for the RedHawks. Banks it up for Daskus, missed him. It goes down for icing on the RedHawks. Daskus is pleading with the linesman that he got a touch on that puck, but it will.
Or that an Omaha defender touched it. I think that's what he was arguing. But
yeah, it'll go back into the Miami end with 5:19 to go in the second period, and a newly minted 2-1 Maverick lead.
Yeah, he pointed right at the defender as the linesman lifted his arm, but no dice on the call. We'll say it's interesting watching this Maverick team. Every time Miami starts throwing these big hits, I mean, we saw it before the media timeout. Every time that they would throw a big hit, it just like it energized the Mavericks more than it energized Miami. It's kind of it's really impressive, honestly, how Omaha can just take those big hits from the other team on their own guys and just use it against them as energy and just to keep going and keep pushing.
Mavericks dump it into the Miami end. It's Kumlin from the near, or wraps it to the near side, I should say. And now Taransky is just working on it. Gets it past Zach Erdahl and back out to center where the Mavericks dump it back in. Neaton came out of his net, but the puck deflected in front. But luckily Kumlin was there to grab it, and he'll skate it up ahead and attempt to dump in. That's gloved down just past the blue line by Mancini. Puck just sitting right now on center ice after both teams just whacking it back and forth. Taransky back to get it for Miami. Wayward for Ryquist, rather, and now it's Barbolini dancing down the right wing. Gets into the corner and fans on the pass as the Mavericks take it away but fail to clear. Ryquist steps off the right wall, finds Drasner, top of the left circle. His shot deflected, hits the upper body of Lacozi, and Ludke will lift it out on the rebound. Barbolini now skating it down the left wing for the RedHawks, and Ludke does excellent job on defense to step in his way, and the Mavericks just barely clear it out of the zone as Ryquist tried his best to hold it on the center point, but could not.
So that's textbook using your body to take away the option on the puck.
So the Mavericks have it back now in their own zone with under 4 minutes to play in the second period. It's 2-1, Omaha leading Miami, and Proctor will swipe it into the RedHawks zone. Ryquist behind his net, jams it to the far side where Fletcher bobbles it but finds Vitalins, who can gain the red and dump in as Miami goes for a full five-man change. LeMay pass up the near wall, tipped by Ludke on the center red line. No icing with 3:27 to go in the period. A miscue by Neaton behind the net as he gave it away, but the shot from a sharp angle went across the crease and did not get on goal. Puck back out at center, and it is Gavin that is backing up on it for Omaha. His passing attempt is up in the air, and finally it's whacked at twice and dumped in for the Mavericks by Rollwagon. Below the Miami goal line, there's a battle for it, and the puck lifted up and hits the netting before falling back into play. It's a whistle with 3:01 to go in the middle period. Shots are in favor of Omaha, 17-13, and the score in their favor as well at 2-1.
Yeah, Neaton was not happy with that play. You could see as he got back into his crease after the shot missed, he did a little sigh and a little head movement, knowing that that was not a good decision, but thankfully it didn't burn him too much.
He's had some...
Only a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, he was really good in the first period. In the second period, he's looked a little shakier, but not necessarily his fault. He's had some horrible bounces.
Yeah, the defense also hasn't been as strong in front of him, I think. It's been a little... In some areas it has been, but, I mean, you get a 5-on-3, another power play. It's just it's hard when it doesn't matter how good you play. Sometimes it's just the defense in front of you has to do, the team in front of you has to do better.
Puck is in the Miami zone, and Kumlin gets knocked over. There's a pile up in the near corner, and Simonovic pulls it free, but his passing attempt just got blocked clean straight up by Glenn into the netting, and it'll back up into the RedHawks zone. 2:32 to go in the
Kumlin
second
and
period.
Bremer are giving it to each other right now.
In each other's faces. The officials have got to separate them. Where's the face-off going to be is the question. Looks like they might move this out of the zone, and they will because Omaha got the last touch. So it will end up in the neutral zone for the Mavericks, just outside their offensive blue line. They got the second line of Erdahl, Sullivan, and Miller on there against Miami's top line. Vitalins, Fletcher, and Barbolini. Face-off win by Omaha, and they will send it into the Miami zone. Erdahl, steal, throws it across the slot from the left corner. No one was there, though, for the Mavericks. Puck pushed in deep from the right point. It is Sullivan in behind the net for Miller for Omaha, who shields off Drasner, now tries to turn it around, and the puck is knocked away. He regathers, threw it down low. That's another bounce off the Zamboni doors in front, but the RedHawks are there to grab and clear, and Barbolini just straight up ices the puck. He hit it off the glass, and I think he just shot that way too hard. It goes all the way down, and the whistle happens with 2:01 to go in the second period with a 2-1 Omaha lead.
I'll be interested to see who takes the face-off here because we've seen Vitalins, we've seen all three guys tonight take a face-off. it's going to be Vitalin's, but Barbolini took that face-off in the neutral zone just prior to that icing. And Fletcher we saw take a face-off on the left side in the offensive zone, so interested to see how that Chris Bergeron's deploying that line.
He's listed as the center. He lost the draw. He's now 2 for 8 on the game. But the RedHawks do take it away and clear as Omaha will now dump it back in. Neaton backhands it to the near side for Ryquist, up the wall for Fletcher, and now tucked through for Vitalin's, the swinging center through the middle. Vitalin's, though, got stripped away by Ludke, and now Omaha will send this forward. Down the far wing, this is Muller with 2 RedHawks on him, and he will twist it in deep. Pulled out by Randall, gets it up to the right point. A laser shot is blocked in front from Mancini, and the RedHawks will clear it. This one will be short of icing as Mancini is back to get it for the Mavericks. Seems like Miami can't get to the locker room fast enough. That's been a recurring theme for this team. Omaha with a dump in. That was short of the red line. It'll go for icing, and the RedHawks get a gift with 1 minute and 8 seconds to go in the second period. Mavericks still lead 2-1. Ozone draw coming up, and Chris Bergeron goes with his third line. It's Taransky, Daskis, Nielsen with Moulton and Clement for a face-off on the left wing side of the Ozone.
Victor Mancini might be my favorite player on this Omaha team, just from watching him. He's 6'4", 215 pounds, doesn't score a lot. It's only got 9 points in 31 games, but boy, he's got a rocket of a shot from that blue line. We've seen it a couple times tonight, but he's just strong, he's physical, he can skate really well for a guy his size too. He's been really impressive this weekend. He's been fun to watch.
Draft pick of the New York Rangers from Saginaw, Michigan. It's played through center by the Mavericks, and there's still no whistle as it's hit up into the Omaha bench, and now the whistle will come. And politely, Noah Ellis grabs that puck off the floor and throws it back onto the ice in the Omaha bench. 54.5 seconds to go, and that will allow the Mavericks to change as the officials will put this at center ice.
Like you said in that first period, Luke, the last minutes and the first minutes of the periods, kind of all season for the RedHawks, have been just awful. So Miami was able to escape that last period with a 0-0 tie in that last minute. They're hoping they can do the same here. Like you said, they kind of looks like they can't wait to get to the locker room fast enough.
Omaha dumps it into the RedHawk end. Copeland with a massive hit on Sullivan, who was going after him, but now Sullivan forces a turnover and throws it in front. It deflects off 2 players, the helmet of Waldron, but ends up being knocked aside by Neaton. 31 seconds left to go in the second period, and it's Kumlin from the near wall up ahead for Dukovac. Barely got a touch on it, and the Mavericks will take it over as they whack it back into the RedHawks zone with 21 seconds left to go. Kumlin's got time and space, and he will head in front of the net and tap it for John Waldron down the right wing. Waldron wraps it through, pays a hefty price, but finds Dukovac down the right wing. Dukovac leaves for Sullivan. His shot deflected wide. Rebound behind the net, and it will be poked up ahead for Ludke for the Mavericks. 3 seconds to go. A shot on net by Randall from beyond the red line as time was expiring, and the second period comes to an end with Omaha leading 2-1. All right, well, we got a little bit of decisiveness in the second period, and much like the second period yesterday, Miami had some good, they had some bad, but they come out on the negative side of the period, and they will need to mount another third period comeback as they went into the intermission trailing by 1 yesterday. Ended up trailing by 2 in that third period before tying the game and eventually losing 4-3. This time they trail by 1 again, headed into the second intermission. Again, better, Jeff, for this Miami team. They've closed the shots gap a little bit, but penalties were poor, and Miami really paid a price for them. And this league, man, you think you get a reprieve with a power play that's 15% on the year. You finally don't have to play a team that's in the mid to high 20s, and they make you pay twice in one night off 3 attempts. It's a tough spot to be in if you're the RedHawks, but this is a team that, again, has shown their ability to create energy seemingly out of nowhere. They're going to lean heavy on these top 2 lines in the final period.
Yeah, and interacting with some Omaha fans this weekend and reading through their tweets and social media, it's been a lot of upset about the power play, and even when your own fans are upset about it, then you know that it's not going well. But you give up a 5-on-3, you take a penalty, and then Ryan Sullivan, who has been fantastic all year, takes a not a smart penalty going through the numbers. Didn't look like it was on purpose, but either way you commit the penalty. And then later in the period, Spencer Cox just not a smart play, cross-checking Jack Randall in the slot, and then Randall goes on to score to take the lead, and that just can't happen against the NCHC teams. Every single NCHC team is going to make you pay if you take stupid penalties, and we've seen it all year. It's been a theme all year that happens, and unfortunately it's something that Miami has needed to learn from, and they still haven't yet to this point. But third period, like you said, Luke, it's been better. Yesterday, third period was really good, especially towards the end, towards the last 10 minutes or so. But going into this third period, you'd like to not be down by one, but you're still in this game very much.
Third periods have been particularly strong for Miami throughout this back part of the season. Results wouldn't necessarily tell you that, but I mean, it's true. And this Red Hawk team will need to have another strong third in the final home game of the season. See if it's in the cards in the final 20. Jeff and I back in just a bit for period number 3. For now, Bryan Miller has a Red Hawk Radio intermission.
All right, thank you guys. So much for an uneventful period, huh? It's almost like the complete opposite of the first period. We had a lot of action here. Quick recap. Miami gets on the board early, lights the lamp 2 minutes and 12 seconds into the period with a goal by Artur Ternansky, assisted by Axel Kumlin and Albin Nielsen. And then right after that, we had a bit of a delay. Broken glass panel. Looked, based on the replay that we saw here on our desk here, one of the monitors we have, it looked like a fan with a ring started hitting on the glass, and I guess hit it just right for it to crack. So we got to see our staff here, our wonderful staff here at the Goggin Ice Center with Miami Hockey, and see them do good work and fix that glass panel. But then shortly after that, right after something good happens for Miami, then it's a penalty on Matthew Barbolini, 5:51 to the period for tripping. Barbolini leads the teams in penalties and penalty minutes, and he extended his lead with that unfortunate lead with that penalty there. And then shortly after that, a penalty on Ryan Sullivan for boarding. 13 seconds after that, 6:04 into the period. So that created an extended 5-on-3 opportunity for the Omaha Mavericks, and they were able to take advantage of that pretty shortly. They almost had a goal by Randall. It hit by Jack Randall. It hit the pipe and then went right in front of Logan Neaton. He was able to cover it up, but they weren't able to have that type of luck for much longer. Omaha scored a goal by Griffin Ludke, 7:18 into the period, and that was assisted by Matt Miller and his younger brother, Tanner Ludke. And then after that, Miami had some opportunities. There's a hard shot by Ryan Sullivan, but it was saved by Simon Lacosi. And then shortly after that, 13:21 into the second period, Spencer Cox got a penalty for cross-checking. Pretty obvious, pretty undisciplined penalty there by Sullivan. And Omaha was able to take advantage of that as Jack Randall scored a goal not even a minute after that, 14:05 into the period. And that was assisted by Matt Miller and Griffin Ludke. Each of those two are having a pretty good game so far, multiple point performances so far tonight. Some stats in the second period. Shots, Omaha took advantage of that. 21 shots for the Mavericks, while Miami only had 12. But Miami did have more shots on goal. Miami had 9 shots on goal. Omaha had 7. But I think the biggest deal in the second period has to be the penalty minutes. 6 penalty minutes for Miami, while Omaha has not had a penalty all night tonight. Omaha 3 power play attempts, and they were able to capitalize on both of them, because the first one, it was a 5-on-3 opportunity. I mentioned it earlier, the face-off advantage that Omaha had. Omaha was able to take advantage of that in the second period. They had 15 face-offs won, while Miami only had 8. My overall thoughts for this second period, I would just say just undisciplined play by Miami just has to be fixed, and it's something that we've seen all year. Just inconsistency and not being able to play a full 60 minutes. I mean, they're able, as Luke and Jeff mentioned earlier, they're able to do a really good job of creating energy, just like out of thin air, and able to get some momentum going. But then as soon as that happens, there's some undisciplined play or some penalty that happens that puts them at a serious disadvantage, and there's really nothing they could do about that. Like right after they scored a goal, and then a couple minutes later, they get 2 penalties, creates a 5-on-3 opportunity for like a minute, 45 seconds, and there's really nothing. There's not a whole lot you could do at that point. They lucked out with a shot that hit the post, and that got right in front of Neaton. But you can't rely on that all the time. And Omaha was able to capitalize on that shortly after and was able to score. But you have to give credit to Omaha for taking advantage of Miami's mistakes. This is a good team. Obviously, they need this game to move up in the projections and start to earn their way in for an at-large bid. So you can't make mistakes against a team like that. They're obviously very good. Anybody in this NCHC conference is very good. You can't make mistakes against teams like that. You're going to get advantaged of repeatedly if you do stuff like that. All right, I will take a short break, and after that we will take a look for scores around the NCHC and around the NCAA hockey world, and what to look for in the third period. We will be back on Red Hawk Radio. Back on Red Hawk Radio. We about a little less than 5 minutes left until the beginning of the second period. Let's take a quick look around the NCHC hockey world. Number 12, Western Michigan, is at number 3, North Dakota, and the home team, North Dakota, is up 1-0. Number 4, Denver, is up 3-0 at number 15, St. Cloud State. Both those games are after the second period, just like this one right here. And Minnesota Duluth is at number 11, Colorado College. That game is tied up at 1 after the end of the first period. In other NCAA hockey scores across the country, number 7, Quinnipiac, is up 5-1 on St. Lawrence. There's 15:55 left in the third period in that one. Number 9, Maine, after a loss to unranked Vermont last night, is tied 2-2 with 13:43 left in the third period. Number 10, Princeton at home, losing to unranked Clarkson 4-1 at the end of 2 periods. And number 20, Arizona State. Last intermission, they were down 1-0, and now there are 4 unanswered goals, so they're up 4-1 over the Long Island Sharks. 14:22 left in the third period in that one. And number 14, UMass, got an overtime win over in-state rival UMass Lowell, 4-3. In Big Ten action tonight, number 16, Michigan, is at number 8, Minnesota. That one should be starting shortly. And number 6, Michigan State, is at number 4, Wisconsin, and that starts at 9 o'clock. All right, what to look for in the third period? I would say Miami just has to play more disciplined, really. Limit penalties, obviously, and try to get the puck in their offensive zone. They're definitely going to play more aggressive to try to get a win in the final home game of the season. They're definitely going to play with that desperation that Bergeron talked about in his presser last night. For Omaha, they're just going to be waiting there, and they're just going to be waiting for Miami to make mistakes and just to take advantage of that once again, as we saw in the second period. I just want to see Miami play with some consistency. After they scored a goal in the last period, they had 2 penalties, a minute and a half, 2 minutes after that, and then that put them in a 5-on-3 situation. They weren't able to recover from that. I think seeing some level of consistency from this Red Hawk group in this last period of home action of the season would be a great way to send off the seniors and this tremendous fan base in a packed house here in Cady Arena tonight. Refs are about to take the ice, and it looks like the Red Hawks and Mavericks are about to shortly follow after that. We will take one last quick break, and then after that, it is off to Luke and Jeff for your third period action.
"20 minutes on the board for the final time this season here at Cady Arena, as the last period of the weekend here in regulation is upon us, with Miami trailing Omaha by a 2-1 count. Miami's been here maybe too many times, Jeff. I think Chris Bergeron would be the first guy to admit that, trailing by a goal headed into the third. The desperation ability from this Miami team has been pretty good over these last couple of weekends. So in a way, you do feel fortunate that you're in striking distance in the game, but we've seen steady improvement and a little bit of a plateau in that second period. It's going to have to continue on that uptrend for Miami here in the third.
Yeah, and at this point, I mean, you need every line to just have all cylinders going, because, you know, if they're not, then Omaha's going to take advantage. And we've seen the physicality ramp up in the second period, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over this final frame in a 1-goal game. But like you said, Luke, they just need to be, you know, more consistent with that effort. I mean, you need to come out. You can't have the last 10 minutes be your best 10 minutes of the weekend. Your last 20 minutes have to be your best best period of the weekend. You have to be ready for everything. And you know, this Omaha team up 1, they're not going to go away. So you need this first line, like they set the tone in the second period with their first shift. So they have to do this again.
RedHawks win the opening faceoff of period number 3 and send it forward. It's Proctor who grabs it from just behind the center red and will throw it into the Miami zone, and we get an icing on the Mavericks 11 seconds into this third period. RedHawks will elect to take the faceoff on the right side of the offensive zone. Vitalins, Fletcher, Barbolini with Ryquist and Drasner for the RedHawks, the line that Chris Bergeron goes with to begin. And it's Vitalins on the faceoff up against Ty Muller, and Vitalins wins it. Ryquist, right point, shot on the ice, save made with the right pad by Lacosi. Drasner now has it in the corner and just leaves it on the half wall where Muller will grab it for Omaha and send it ahead. Randall with plenty of speed down the right wing, cuts to the net, trying to get a shot away, but Rehnquist with a nice stick check to keep it off the frame. And the RedHawks will grab it and pull back into their own zone as Miami looks to regroup. It's one forechecker up ahead. That's Randall for Omaha, and he does get the steal on Rehnquist, and now the reinforcements arrive as he plays it in deep. And Sullivan working on Drasner, and the RedHawk falls down to the ice as Fletcher now arrives to help out on the far half wall, and he whacks it up for Raymond's Vitalins, who plays it rink wide for Barbolini. Stumbling, he will fire it into the Omaha zone. Lacosi out of his net, kind of handcuffed his man there as that was a suicide pass a little bit up the near wall for Krenzen, and Barbolini laid a good hit on him. Puck cleared up as far as the point where Sullivan will fire it in cross corner to the far wing. Barbolini from the far corner, the offensive zone for Miami, up for Sullivan. His shot deflected well wide. Now Waldron has it, and he banks up left point for the RedHawks for Moulton, who taps it back for Waldron, but it went under his stick. In the left corner, Sullivan on Sullivan for each of these two teams. Waldron pulls it free, but now loses the puck in favor of Matt Miller of Omaha, who handles this as far as neutral ice just outside the blue line. And now we'll retreat it backward for LeMay on the far wing. LeMay up ahead for Erdahl, and he'll deflect it into the Miami zone as the rest of the Mavericks go for changes. RedHawks poke it up the near side. It's Dukovac for Sullivan swinging through the middle, and now Clement trying to play it off the wall, but Bremer took it away. Lansdale now spins it to the near wing for Gavin, and he'll play it across the ice, where Ludke will back it up. Griffin Ludke already a goal in this game and an assist. He's played a part in both Omaha goals that have both come on the power play. Glenn down the right side, enters the zone, shoots, shoulder save made by Neaton, and the puck is fired out by the RedHawks off the near wall, where Gavin will retrieve from center ice. Nielsen now with a steal out at center, trying to play it in for the RedHawks, and they got delayed at the blue line because of a deflection. It's touched up offside, and there's that physicality post-whistle as Bremer kind of bumped Taransky, and he didn't love it. Neither did some of the other RedHawks on the ice, but the officials get that split up quickly. 2 minutes and 21 seconds gone by third period. It's still 2-1 Omaha.
For a guy that's 5'5", 140, we talked about it yesterday. For a guy that's 5'5", 140, Brock Bremer loves to get in with guys who are bigger than him, just a little bit bigger than him. He's a good physical player for his size. He's also very skilled. Had a goal yesterday and an assist.
4 on the year for Brock Bremer, the senior from Forest Lake, Minnesota. Puck in the Miami end, and Fletcher will just flip it off the glass and out of the zone, where Krenzen is back to it for the Mavericks. He will circle his own net, but Barbolini kind of knocks him off the puck and now locks him up against the wall, against the near hash. 2-on-2 battle ensues, and Vitalins has it free for the RedHawks behind the net, but a good job by Muller to shield him off the puck and play it up the far side for Tanner Ludke. Ludke through center down the left wing, throws it off the far wall for Randall, chasing it down the corner, threw it in front,
Whoa.
and Muller got a stick on it, but don't think that ever got on net. Now behind the Miami net in the near corner, Dempsey plays it dangerously to the lone Omaha forechecker. That was Muller, but the RedHawks do get it up the near wall, and now it is Fletcher that is making his way through center. He'll double back and wait for the change to finish. Dempsey D-to-D with Semenovics for Miami. 2 assists for Rehards yesterday. Dempsey tried to fire a bullet ahead. Rollwagon cut the pass off before it reached Messenberg, and the Mavericks will dump it in thanks to Mitchell. Baser back to get it in the far corner for Miami. Taransky just lifted Mitchell's stick out of his hand away from the puck, and that is a penalty. Lacosi on his way off. Extra attacker on for the Mavericks as Baser pins Fust up against the near wall, and Taransky will touch up. And an interference call is whistled against, I believe it'll be Artur Taransky that'll go for Miami. Everybody's just skating towards the bench. They're going to get Blake Messenberg, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't think it was Messenberg.
I think it was Taransky, but nonetheless, it was a penalty, and so they're going to have Messenberg sit for 2.
We'll be able to see, yeah, it was Taransky. It was not Messenberg, so they've got the wrong guy. But
the Omaha power play.
Yeah, Brian Hankey's is going to go look at it.
Yeah, they're going to take a look, and Messenberg's in all likelihood going to get pulled out of the box in favor of Artur Taransky. 16-14 to go third period. Maverick power play is 2 for 3 on the game. And Chris Bergeron is having a conversation right now with Steven Reno, the other official with Brian Hankey's currently at the monitor in the penalty box. So the RedHawks will go to the kill.
In all, in the grand scheme of things, looking at
Miami
the fans are excited because they think it's going to be a penalty, but it's going to be a penalty. It's not going to be.
They're just going to change the player that it is. So Taransky
They just
will
got
go
the
to
wrong
the
guy.
box.
Yeah, Miami fans right next to the box were standing up and clapping, but believing that that was not going to be a penalty at all, but unfortunately it will be. And honestly, having Blake Messenberg on your bench instead of Artur Taransky on this penalty kill might not be the worst thing just from a face-offs perspective. If you need a big face-off, Messenberg's been doing that all year. He's been very good all year at face-offs.
He's 2 for 3 on the day, but that's just mostly because of limited ice time.
Yep.
Mavericks do win the draw, but the draw was won about waist high and flies out of the zone as Gavin couldn't knock it down with the stick. Omaha is 2 for 3 on the power play. They've scored on the 5-on-3, and they've scored on the 5-on-4 so far. Past the 4-minute mark, third period, Mavericks lead by a goal. And on the far wing, Lansdale gets bumped, and the RedHawks clear it. This is the second unit that is on for Omaha, as we have typically seen the other one that includes the Ludkeys along with Miller and Randall. This time it's Bremer, Sullivan, Gavin, and LeMay that are out there for the Mavericks. Up at the left point, Mavericks finally settle into their setup as Gavin will play it in deep for Bremer, and he leaves it in the far corner for Lansdale. Back up left point, this is LeMay. Washington Capitals draft choice, plays it left wing for Lansdale, back down low into the corner. Handling, Gavin looks for an option, it comes behind the net. Bremer back to the corner, and Gavin's pass got deflected, looking to go up top. Yeah, Fletcher was whacking at it as the puck got out to neutral ice. But the Mavericks, will get it back in. It's played back in by Omaha deep in the zone, and now this is Randall behind the net as the first unit is coming on. Minute 20 gone by, the power play with the Mavericks leading 2-1. LeMay from the right point, finds center point Jack Randall. Now to the far circle pass right between the wickets of Gavin. RedHawks will grab it and throw it out, and it just hits off the skate and leaks out of the zone as LeMay got that with both of his legs, but it trickles past the blue line. Now Randall goes under the stick twice and gets a shot away off of Moulton, saved by Neaton, and Miami clears with 15 seconds to go in the minor to Taransky. So one last rush here for Omaha, and it is Griffin Ludke that will leave this back behind for Ty Muller. Touch pass now for Tanner Ludke, and he makes his way right where the puck is poked into the corner. As Taransky is out of the box, we're back to 5-on-5. From the right point, Randall fakes the slap shot. Ludke was calling for it from the center point, but Randall doesn't see him. He'll wrap it in instead for Ellis on the near half wall, who bangs it back in deep for Ludke. Waldron chips it down low for Miami for Drasner, and now Ryquist in the far corner. Can't tap it past the pressuring of Erdahl, and Omaha still with it below the goal line. It is thrown out in front dangerously by Ludke, but it goes between everybody, splits the Maverick D, and heads down the ice. RedHawks can finally get a normal 5-man unit out there as they will go to work on the forecheck. And Daskis is very lucky he didn't just get called for a hook as he got his stick tied up with Mancini. Puck out at center, and Daskis with a takeaway. Mini 3-on-2 developing with back checkers for the RedHawks. Daskis will just skate it to the far wall and play it in deep for Nielsen. Now up to the right point. It hit Kumlin on the backhand. He sidestepped and brought it back into the zone, and that's offside. Scored on that play yesterday, sidestepping past somebody on the right point, tried to do it again, but he was on the backhand this time and just lost it out of the zone. Offside on the RedHawks, 13-18 to go third period. Miami trails 2-1, neutralized draw coming up on the far side of the ice.
Yeah, I believe if Omaha had scored on this play down here, I think Miami would have challenged for offside. I saw Miami assistant coach, as soon as they entered the zone, I saw Miami assistant coach Jonathan Elliott say something to his jacket, which he was probably not speaking to, and then looked up towards the press area, which is where the Miami replay is held. So I would assume that they were going to challenge that, but just an interesting tidbit on that.
Yeah, Coach Phillips is up there. Mavericks push it deep in the Miami zone, and the puck now loose in the right circle. Lansdale will wind it in deep where Kumlin will grab it for Miami. Played up the wall for Fletcher. He directs it up off the dasher and out of the zone. Spinning this one around, it is sent back in by Lansdale as it knocks off the end wall. Past the 7-minute mark, third period, Miami trails by a goal. And the RedHawks haven't really done a whole lot in this third. Miami turns it over at the blue line. Mancini tried to dance his way in, but it was poked off his stick. Muller now tried to fire it in deep, but that got blocked by Vitalins. Now it is sent further into the zone by the Mavericks, and Moulton will play it to the far side where there's plenty of Mavericks there, and Randall will play it up top for Tanner Ludke. Ludke fakes the slap shot, banks it off the far wall over to the wing for Randall. He spins and lost the puck. Sullivan with the takeaway for Miami. He's got 3 black jerseys around him. He is skating and checking for positioning. Will now gain the red and send it down on the backhand. RedHawks get a partial change in. Dukovac trying to forecheck on Mancini, who spins away from him expertly and plays off for Proctor. Down the middle, this is Ty Muller to the near side for Tanner Ludke, entering the zone. Stops just short of the hashes and shoots. A puck that was tracking wide, but just to be safe, Neaton got it with the pad. Now down the left side for the RedHawks, it's Dukovac dancing through center. Plays it to the far wing for Sullivan. His wrister caught up high by Licozzi on his glove side, the right side, and he holds on with 11:42 to go in the third. Don't know if that got tipped or what, but Licozzi looked very uncomfortable in grabbing that shot. Still made the save, and we've reached a stoppage with 11:42 to go in the third. It's 2-1 Omaha as we've reached a timeout on the ice. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. .42 to go, third period. Luke West-Poley and Jeff Middleton with you as Miami trails Omaha 2-1. RedHawks with an offensive zone drawn. It's John Waldron against Nolan Sullivan on the faceoff. And Waldron wins it for the RedHawks, but they can't hold the zone as Ryquist just dramatically fell. Couldn't gain his footing, and the RedHawks will regroup it back to their side. Might be just me speculating, but Spencer Cox is onto the ice for Miami. Has really not played at all since he took that penalty. RedHawks with 8D have plenty of room to keep guys off the ice if they want to at that position. Omaha gets it the other way down the left wing, and it's Sullivan that's playing it in deep. Now Cox behind the Miami net, chips it to the near corner for Waldron, who will spin, and Cox sets a nice little pick for him, and Sullivan kind of reached around and grabbed him on the front, but those two break up. Waldron gets to the high slot and just shoots in a 1-on-3. That puck whistles wide. Trying to play it up to the point. Simonovic across for Ryquist, top of the right circle, waits and shoots. It got blocked in front. Might have hit Sullivan for Miami there. Now a lob wedge taken out by LeMay, and he throws that one rafter high all the way out to center ice where the RedHawks will pull it back.
Nice little play from Waldron there. I mean, if they give you the space, then take it. You only have 15 shots on net, and you're halfway through this third period, so you gotta find a way to get some more offense going.
Down the right wing, Daskis will shoot from there. It's right in the breadbasket of Licozzi, and he will cover with 10:31 to go in the third period. It's 2-1 Omaha, and the faceoff will come on right side of the offensive zone for Miami. Nielsen, Taransky, Daskis, Simonovic, and Kumlin, the 5 out for Chris Bergeron.
This line's been good. You'd love to see them get some. I mean, they've been scrappy all night. I think that's you know, it's how this Chris Bergeron team has really done well. When they've won games, it's because they've been scrappy and they've gone to the front of the net. I mean, Max Dukovac scored off his shin pad last night because he was just standing there. That's what you need to do against Omaha.
Daskis plays it out in front. Taransky couldn't get it on the one-timer. Now Simonovic on the right point finds Kumlin on the near side. Kumlin steps to the middle and fires, and a save made by Licozzi with the glove. And Nielsen got a little too close to him there, and the Mavericks will give him a couple of jostles, and we will get a face-off with 10:16 to go in the third period on the near side of the offensive zone for Miami as the RedHawks trail 2-1. I mean, that line is doing something right now for this team.
I'd say that's the best that I mean, Daskis had a shot, and they get another shot there, just generating offense. That's Kumlin from the point, but, I mean, you'll take it. All three of those guys on that line will go to the front of the net, and that's what you need.
Fletcher on the face-off for Miami as the top line is back out, but the Mavericks win it as it is pulled back by Muller. First line out for Omaha, and the RedHawks will have to play it back in deep. Krenzen from the near corner plays it up for Ludke, and he leaves it off on the wall as he gets crunched. The RedHawks try to knock it through center, but Ellis intercepted the pass. Muller shifts to the far side and rips it around the dasher back to the near wing. Randall plays it into the corner from there. And now Simonovic is kind of turned over, but pushes it back for Kumlin. Kumlin up the near wall, looking on the backhand, muscles his way towards the middle of the ice and just throws it to the far side, boards out through center, and will now go forecheck himself as Omaha goes D to D and chips it up the near wall. Simonovic tried to dipsy-doodle between the legs and lost control of the puck, and instead he'll just have to whack it back to his own team's defensive zone as Miami regroups. Past the halfway mark of the third period, 9:20 to go in it with the RedHawks trailing 2-1. It's Vitalins with speed down the left wing. He hits the brakes, throws it to the middle. There's nobody, and now a break the other way for the Mavericks. It's a 2-on-2. Fuss got delayed at the blue line. A nice poke check by Moulton. Stepped in before he touched it. It's offside on the Mavericks with 9:09 to go in the third period. Omaha leads 2-1. Face-off on the near wing side of the neutral zone.
And that play by Kumlin through the neutral zone, you'd probably like to see him pick his head up there. He just kind of one-handed it over to the open side, but it's a good rush by Vitalins, but there's just nobody there, and you just kind of throw it to the middle expecting somebody to be there instead of taking the time and looking for options. It's just, I mean, you're never going to generate offense if you just throw it blindly towards space.
Miami dumps it into the Maverick end. Waldron trying to forecheck, had the puck hop his stick, and the Mavericks will go off the glass and out, and now Fust racing it down. Moulton swats it away from him nicely, and the RedHawks will transition it through the neutral zone. Waldron leaves it off for Clement. He plays it near wing for Sullivan, who now enters the zone. Sullivan leaves off for Moulton. His one-timer, glove through traffic, puck still loose. It trickles to the far side, and it is chopped away from Dukovac as the Mavericks now clear it. Mitchell got pumped by Clement, but it's Mancini that has it now for Omaha down the right wing. He'll wind it back in deep as Moulton is back there for Miami. Up the half wall for Waldron, and now across the ice for Jack Clement. Clement plays it forward, and a bump down on Taransky, who got a touch on it, and he and Mancini exchange words as Miami goes for changes. Meanwhile, Omaha playing it the other way, and a deflection past the red line by Erdahl ends up in the seats. And the faceoff will come to the neutral zone with 8:10 to go in the third period. Still a 2-1 Maverick lead, and they'll drop it at center ice.
Yeah, Mancini got a nice little extra shot in on Taransky after he went for a change, or before he went for a change. Nice little hit from behind. Legal hit, Mark Taransky had the puck, but they gave him a little extra shot after that.
Ryquist plays backward for Spencer Cox, and now he will mosey his way through traffic. It's whacked off his stick and gloved out of the air by Miller. RedHawks held the zone for a moment as the puck was ping-ponging back and forth, but the Mavericks do clear. And he's had the majority of the possession over the last couple of minutes. This Thomas Daskis line is back on, and Daskis will play it in deep where Krenzen rips it to the far side, and Erdahl directs it further up into his own bench as the faceoff will come back into the Maverick zone with 7:39 to go in the third period. It'll be on the far side, Miami down a goal. And Chris Bergeron will again send the top line over the boards. It's Vitalins, Fletcher, Barbolini out there for the RedHawks.
You know, a guy who hasn't really had as good of a game as you'd probably like him to is Hampus Rydquist. He's had the puck and he's generated a couple chances, but overall he just hasn't been the Hampus Rydquist that we know. He's just been kind of fumbling the puck around, hasn't made the kind of plays on the blue line that you'd like to see from him, especially in a 2-1 game.
RedHawks do win the offensive zone face-off. Drasner turns it over down the half wall, and Lansdale will play it back to the far wing. RedHawks do hold the zone. It is pushed back in deep by Fletcher. Barbolini with a nice move on the reverse hit to gain possession, but his pass got intercepted. Omaha with a clearing attempt that is stuffed at the right point, and now it's Vitalins. Tried to throw it in front. It got deflected and ends up just wide of the cage. Lansdale throws it around the glass. It rolls off the top of the glass there and ends up out of the zone as Drasner couldn't settle it. Drasner forced all the way back into his own end. He'll bank it off the end wall for Dempsey on the near wing, and now he's up ahead for Fletcher, who deflects it between the legs into the Omaha end.
That line just isn't moving as quickly as you'd like to see him. I mean, those are three extremely talented players, and they're just not skating as fast as some of these other lines, especially this Waldron, Dukovac, Sullivan line.
Dukovac with a sharp angle shot from the near corner, and that got deflected over the net. And now maybe a 3-on-2 developing, but Mavericks go for changes down the left side. This is Muller that will wrap it around to the near wing, throws it high slot. Ludke fumbles with it, shoots, save made, swatted out in front, but it was fanned on the second effort by Randall. Excellent find on the trailer there, but Ludke just didn't handle the puck cleanly. And now nearly a giveaway. Dukovac got a stick on the pass up ahead by Ellis, who was looking to stretch the ice, but he couldn't settle it down. Miami dumps it back into the Omaha end with 6:11 to go in the third period. It's 2-1 Mavericks. And forward pass pops up in the air after a deflection. Mancini will whack it with his hand into the RedHawks zone. And the RedHawks will go back to chase it and give it away right under their own goal line. Up the near wall. This is Erdahl now from the near corner. Plays it up right point for Ellis. Over to the far wing. Mancini wanted it and gets it. And he'll just flutter it in deep for the Mavericks, who go to work behind the net. It's thrown out in front by Miller, but puck took a deflection.
Play the puck there.
Yeah, just a lot of hitting right now under the goal line, and Redhawks aren't really gaining possession out
What
of it.
in the
Miller
world
gives
is
it a
going on in
try.
the corner?
Two guys are tied up. It's Taransky and Sullivan as the shot deflected up into the protective netting. Looked like Sullivan's stick was kind of in between Taransky's leg and maybe also under his arm, and they were just tied up, and nobody could go anywhere. I don't know. This has been a mucky type of series, and that is just the way the Mavericks like it. They lead 2-1 with 5:31 to go in the third. We'll take one final break here in the final home game of the season for the hockey team as you're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. .5:31 to go, third period. It's 2-1 Omaha over Miami in the final home game of the season. Luke West, Poley, Jeff Middleton with you. Redhawks looking for a comeback for the second straight night. Redhawks tied it yesterday before falling 4-3 off a late goal by Zach Erdahl. Miami will need another late goal here if they want to get this game level at 2. Defensive zone draw for the Redhawks, and it is the top lines out there for each of these two teams. Muller on the faceoff against Raymond's Vitalins on the near wing side of the Miami defensive zone. Redhawks are really frustrated with Chris Williams, the linesman, dropping the puck right now as they think that Muller.
I saw that yesterday with Omaha. Omaha was frustrated. There were a couple of outbursts from their bench and even guys on the ice.
Redhawks do win the draw. They get it out to center. It's Vitalins in space up ahead for Ryquist, who has no space, and he gets closed off and loses possession just inside the Maverick zone. Banked off the near wall, and Randall missed it on the tip attempt. Down for icing with 5:12 to go in the third period. And the Mavericks leading by 1. So Miami will send out the Waldron, Dukovac, Sullivan line, and John Waldron indicating to the linesman he wants to take this draw on the right side of the offensive zone.
And I like keeping this line out here. I like these three forwards just to try and, as you used before, muck up a little bit in front of the net and find something to go through.
Copeland with a drive. It got stuck in the blocker of Lacosi for a second, but the Mavericks clear. This puck is going down, and Kumlin gets to it just before it reaches the goal line, so no icing. Simonovic pulls it free with under 5 to go in the third period, and Simonovic is hauling this one away from Bremer right now, who is applying some blanketing forecheck. Dukovac sidesteps down the right side and hands off for John Waldron. Into the zone, Waldron will bank it off the end wall. And now it is Bremer handing up the wall for Lansdale, who spins it through the middle, and LeMay can skate it out towards center. LeMay tries to shovel it in. It gets stopped just outside the offensive blue line, but now Bremer will take the loose puck and bring it in for Omaha behind the net with 4.5 to go. As he gets tumbled by Dylan Moulton, and the RedHawks will take it back.
Gotta go.
Waldron tried to stretch the ice. He turned it over. It's Lansdale down the right side. Threw it across, looking for the back door, but it was behind his man. And the RedHawks take it 3-on-3 the opposite direction. Moulton will dump it. Taransky with speed going after it, but arriving there first. It is navigated away from the problem area by Mancini for Omaha back out to center. Clement hands it off for Daskus. Doesn't know where it is. It's in his skates. Puck is just stuck right now inside the blue line, and the Mavericks will clear it. And now Erdahl's got a full head of steam on Cox. Erdahl driving, tries to wrap it in front, but there was 3 RedHawks back there to grab it, and they will push it back to their own end.
Some PTSD there.
Yeah, there
nice
was.
Little rush from
That
Erdahl.
was how we won the game yesterday for Omaha with the game-winning goal. Meanwhile, Daskus takes it into the zone and drags and shoots. It got deflected wide on the ice, and the Mavericks will take it up the far side. It is Sullivan down the wing, chipping off the wall. And the RedHawks will take it back. Cox down the near wing for Miami, gains the red and fires in over to the far wing. Vitalin settles it down and throws it back behind the cage. Brings all the way up to the near half wall where Randall leaves it ahead for Ludke. Tanner Ludke down the right wing, enters the zone and shoots into the breadbasket of Neaton. And he will hold on with 3:11 to go in the third period. It is 2-1 Omaha over Miami. And a faceoff will come for Miami in their defensive zone on the near wing.
Certainly a much less dominant last 10 minutes for these RedHawks. Still a chance, though. You're still not out of it. You have to create more than one shot. I mean, they've gotten a lot of their success has been driven this season by converting on rebounds in front of the net and just going to the front, forechecking well. And the forecheck's been all right, but oof.
Shot off the draw, laser again from Jacob Gavin, ends up wide, and the RedHawks will get it out of the zone. Omaha regrouping back. It's Ludke to the near wing for Gavin. And now Ludke will tap it forward for Muller, who takes it down the right side. He will muscle off Matthew Barbolini for Miami. Barbolini went in for a dangerous hit on Randall. Luckily, he kind of pulled up at the last second, but does take the puck away. RedHawks get it through center. Vitalins mishandles the puck, and now Barbolini will grab it and has plenty of space to play to the near side for Simonovic. Simonovic gains the center red and will rim it around to the far side. Puck is held in by Kumlin. Steps aside the defender and leaves off for Simonovic in the near circle. Simonovic shoots well wide. Off goes Logan Neaton. RedHawks are going 6 skaters with 2:22 left to go. Simonovic on the half wall. It's chopped by him and will go down the ice. And this will be icing just barely with 2:14 to go in the third period. It's 2-1 Omaha, and the goalie is out for the RedHawks, and it looks like Chris Bergeron's going to keep him out. He's got Nielsen, Waldron, Sullivan, and Dukovac out there. The 2D over the boards at the last minute are Clement and Moulton.
Interesting, because you had that
yeah,
pair of Kumlin and
kind of jumbled.
Simonovic.
Looks like Mike Gabnett just called timeout on the Omaha bench.
Understandable.
They had very tired bodies.
Yeah, Mancini
on the
was
ice.
keeled over. He was exhausted.
And remember, in the college game, as opposed to the NHL, when you call timeout on icing, you can change. So now Omaha can go with whoever they want off the bench. And Barry Schuette's got the whiteboard out on the Miami side, and he will drop a face-off play for what looks to be, at the moment, the same 6 out there for Miami that were sent out prior to the timeout. Miami still got their timeout. Imagine that if they go about a minute or so without scoring and get a stoppage, they'll use it. 2:14 left to go, third period, and it's 2-1 Omaha with the Miami goalie out. RedHawks will wrap up the season next week at Western Michigan, but this is it here at home in front of this crowd.
Yep. It's been fun, I will say.
It has been.
Despite the losses and the frustrating moments at times, it's been fun. This team, I think the one thing that I want to take away, and I want everyone listening to take away from this, is that this team is better than they were last year.
They're a lot better than they
You
were
look
last
at the
year.
you look at the record. You know you might not decipher that. They only have one NCHC win this year, less than they had last year. But this team tangibly is better than they were last year.
RedHawks win the faceoff and play it into the corner. It's Barbolini along the end wall, and now Sullivan. It's pulled free by Mancini for Omaha. Fletcher trying to settle a bouncing puck and does by way of Barbolini, who hands off for Sullivan below the goal line. Sullivan walks to the near side, up left point for Vitalins. Vitalins going backhand to forehand up for Kumlin, center point, and now to the right circle. Played across, wide open net, and Sullivan fanned on the one-timer. Vitalins now across, and his pass for Fletcher across the ice got deflected. Barbolini lays a hit, but Omaha will clear this one down. It's going towards the empty net, and it will track just wide, and Kumlin arrives just before Randall to win the icing with 1:37 to go in the third. Wow, that was tight. Woo. Not only that the icing even happened in the first place, but that Kumlin won the race. That nearly went in. That nearly didn't reach the goal line, and then Kumlin nearly lost that race, but it's an ozone draw with 1:37 to go in the third. Miami down 1.
Semanovic is back out there with Rydquist this time.
And the faceoff is pushed to the far side where Randall clears for Omaha, and they will get fresh bodies on the ice. Under 90 seconds left to play. Jack Clement from the near wing plays it in. It is gloved down by Mancini, and he'll direct it behind the Omaha cage. Semanovic in deep will play it off for Thomas Daskis for Miami. Daskis banks off the near wall for Clement. Try to play it up to the point. There's 2 Mavericks there. They try to clear, but can't for the moment, and now the puck will pop into the neutral zone. Rydquist working in traffic, finds it over to Nielsen, and will give to Semanovic as we cross under 1 minute to go in this third period. Puck is below the goal line in the Omaha end. Krensen leaves it off. Shot goes the length of the ice and just wide off the stick of Lansdale. It's icing on the Mavericks with 50.6 seconds left to go. And it's still 2-1. Chris Bergeron clapping his hands. Will we see the timeout? Does not look like we will. He's going to let his guys play this out. It's Barbolini, Sullivan, Waldron, Vitalins, Kumlin, and Fletcher for Miami. 6 on the ice with the net empty. Face off on the far wing side. And it is Waldron against Nolan Sullivan of Omaha. Sullivan getting some direction to back up. He obliges, and the RedHawks win the draw. Up to the point. It's Vitalins from the left point. Shot in. It's tipped. Rebound. 2 whacks at it by Barbolini, and he is stoned by Lacosi, and Omaha clears. This will not get down for icing as Kumlin grabs it in the near circle of the Miami zone. Kumlin back up ahead. Dumps it in with just over 30 seconds left to go. Barbolini grabs it on the near half wall. He gets locked up. Puck is kicked along the boards by Krensen. 25 seconds left to play. Miami's got 4 guys in there trying to pull the puck free, and now finally they do to the left point. Fletcher across for Kumlin. His shot is blocked in front by a mass of bodies, and Muller will play it off the glass and back out to center with 12 seconds to go. A turnover is lifted in past the center red with 7 seconds left. Fletcher will try to slap it down. Ludke blocked it, but that will do it here on the weekend. And the home season comes to an end. And look out, something gets thrown onto the ice here late. But Miami falls here on Saturday night 2-1 to the Omaha Mavericks as the RedHawks get swept in the final home series of the year. And they fall here on Saturday night by a 2-1 count. I mean, just a weekend that never really moved the needle, Jeff, for this Miami team. You were hoping that they could get some results that felt like they were a long time overdue for this team. And unfortunately, in the final home series of the year, this RedHawk group was just unable to do so. And they will close out their season on the road next week in Western Michigan. This team is better than we've seen in years past, and it's just disappointing that we can't call more wins for them here at home this season, as the RedHawks will close out their year with just 1 win here at home in conference play this season. And just 4 wins in total here at Cady Arena, 3 of them coming in a row against Canisius and Arizona State back in the early season in October, as Miami falls on Saturday night here 2-1 to the Omaha Mavericks. I mean, there's a lot of questions, and we can get to those at a later point. The season's not over for Miami. They still got Western next week, and then in all likelihood they will head to the Ralph to take on North Dakota in the first round of the NCHC tournament the following week. But, I mean, you know, rumors are swirling. We don't know what this team is going to look like next year in a variety of different areas, and kind of just leaves you to hope.
It's hard. I mean,
Yeah.
It's hard. I think it's hard for us too. I mean, you know, we obviously cover this team. We talk about this team, but you watch these guys battle every night. Some nights better than others, of course. But I mean, you take North Dakota on a Friday night. You can't get a win. You take Denver to shootout. You can't get a win. You take Duluth to a shootout earlier this year. You can't get a win. Like, it's just they have so many opportunities this season to grab victory from games that they should have won, or grab victory from the jaws of defeat, and they just weren't able to do it, whether it was a lack of finishing or a lack of effort in the first 30 minutes, first 40 minutes. I mean, there were a lot of nights where this team was able to claw back, and of course they had their nights where, you know, Saturday night last week was rough, 8-1, but it's just been that kind of year, and I mean, there's only so much that you can ask, and I think that's something that Chris Bergeron talked about as well, is no matter what you take from this season, if you want to look at the record, that's fine, blame that on him, but these guys have battled every night their hardest that they can, and you know, like we've said throughout this game, this is a different Miami team, and like you said, Luke, we don't know what it's going to look like next year, but I mean, for me, I only take out optimism from this season. It's tough to. There's obviously things that they need to work on. They're far from perfect, but considering what they looked like last season and in seasons prior, there's a lot of work has been done. There's guys who are going to really make a difference next year, and then there's guys coming in that can make a big difference. So, yeah, it's a bummer. There's two one-goal losses this weekend, and games that you could have won if you had better 60-minute efforts. But that's how this season has kind of gone, to be honest.
Chris Bergeron has been the first to take the blame for the results that have happened, but like you said, I mean, this team has had a fight and a level of battle that it's hard to put that into words because of the results that everyone sees. That's what everyone notices with this team, but you look at teams of the past, I mean, maybe they won a couple more games in conference play than this team did.
It's easy to look at records and
but
just say that.
I mean, this team had a level of fight this year that we haven't seen in a number of years, and just hoping that can continue into future years as this team adds more pieces headed into the recent future. So we will say so long now from Cady Arena. Jeff, it's been a pleasure to be on for baseball. Love doing these hockey games, of course, as this is kind of my thing. Grew up on this team, so always love getting to cover them here on the student radio station, and we appreciate the support that we've received all season long. We still got plenty more coming for you. As for us at the station in the spring, we'll have some baseball, as we always do. In fact, tomorrow afternoon we'll have baseball coming up. That's our next broadcast, 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, as the Miami baseball team looks to go for the sweep against the Golden Grizzlies of Oakland. We hope you will tune in then, and we also hope you will tune in next fall. We'll be back here at Cady Arena once again come next October. Schedule gets set in a couple of months, and we will be all ready to rock and roll for another year of Miami hockey on Red Hawk Radio. Jeff, it has been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
And thank you to everyone else that has tuned in all season long for one final time here this season. We thank you for tuning in as Miami falls 2-1 in the regular season home finale for the RedHawks. We'll be back in action next week on the road at Western Michigan. We'll see you in the fall for more Miami hockey on Red Hawk Radio. We'll take a short break. When we come back, it will be Bryan Miller to get you wrapped up with our Red Hawk Radio postgame, as he will put a bow on this one in the final home game of the season for the Red Hawk hockey team. That's coming up on the other side of the break on Red Hawk Radio. Stay tuned for that.
back here at Cady Arena. You are listening to Red Hawk Radio, Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. I'm your host, Bryan Miller. A couple quick thoughts for the post-game coverage. I don't have a whole lot to say. Third period recap, Miami penalty on Artur Taransky. That was 3:46 into the period. Not a whole lot happening after that. As Luke said, it's a pretty mucky period with the way Omaha plays, especially on defense. Last minute effort for Miami. Big pile in front of the goal. Nothing ended up happening because of it. I know Sullivan had a good opportunity for a shot, but he missed it. A couple opportunities there in the last couple minutes for the RedHawks, but they weren't able to get it done and fall short in this one, 2-1 to the number 18 ranked Omaha Mavericks. Omaha moves to 18-10-4 on the season. I don't think this win will necessarily help their projected ranking too much, but I would say not losing helps, because a loss here would definitely drop them in the rankings and maybe put them out of at-large contention. Next weekend's a pretty big opportunity for the Mavericks, though. They get number 3 North Dakota at home if they get one, or if they sweep North Dakota, that would be a pretty massive win for the Mavericks and definitely help their tournament hopes. For Miami, this loss puts them to 7-22-3 on the season. They end the home season with 4 wins and 1 NCHC conference win at home. Next week is the RedHawks will be at number 12 Western Michigan. And then after that, for both these teams, is the NCHC tournament and then NCAA tournament after that. My final thoughts, I thought effort was pretty good for Miami. I agree with a lot of what Jeff was saying after the game. I think the effort was there. I thought they've been playing pretty hard, just the results aren't really showing. I mean, who knows what the future holds for these players and the coaching staff. I mean, obviously the immediate future next week and the week after that. But, I mean, after that, who knows? It's not my place to say. But I thought the crowd here was great. I thought the senior festivities were very good. It's just unfortunate that, you know, their hard work and effort came up just short in this one. It's been a great season. This is my first and only broadcast on this season, but it's been an honor to be able to do this. I will be on the next Miami RedHawk Radio broadcast tomorrow at 1 o'clock. It will be me, myself, and I for Miami baseball going for the sweep against the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. That will start at 1 o'clock. I hope that you join us for that and all of our baseball and softball coverage for the rest of the season. Thank you for listening to Red Hawk Radio all hockey season. It's been an honor. I will see you tomorrow, or if you're just listening to hockey, we will see you again next fall.